Tonight's edition of our Nation Sports Show is dedicated to the memory of Jon Blayne, who passed away on March the 22nd. Blayne was 86 years old. Blayne was drafted in the 1958 NBA draft by the Minneapolis Lakers, who later moved to Los Angeles in 1960. Blayne was regarded as one of the greatest NBA players of all time. Blayne was selected to 11 NBA All-Star games throughout his entire career. He was also selected to 10 All-NBA teams, and he was the 1959 Rookie of the Year. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the entire family of Jon Blayne. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we dedicate tonight's show to a legend in the basketball world, a man who left his mark on the basketball court, a man whose legacy is cemented forever. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, our Nation Sports Show dedicates tonight's episode to Los Angeles Laker great Jon Blayne. On February the 25th, our Nation Sports Show started its previews for the upcoming 2021 MLB season. Tonight is the finale of our season previews for this year's baseball season. So tonight, you fought for one single solitary second that we were going to break down just one division tonight. Oh no, no. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's edition of our Nation Sports Show is not good enough for one division to be covered, because tonight on our MLB season preview finale, we preview the NL and the AL East. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest joining us. We had to call upon a certain doctor, a man who is a die-hard Atlanta Braves fan. He is the Doc Robert Stinson of This Is Pro Wrestling. Tonight, we talk to Stinson about how he thinks his Atlanta Braves will do this year. Also tonight, we preview and break down the New York Mets, the New York Yankees. Nation, it's up to you to decide which New York team will have a better season this year, the Mets or the Yankees. Also, anything in the NFL, NBA, NHL, and UFC is on the table. 6 weeks of previewing this year's baseball season. Tonight is the finale of our 2021 MLB season preview. Nation, are you ready? Buckle up, Buttercup. Let's rock and roll. The Nation speaks next. From the gridiron to the court, talking all that is sports. Members of the Busted Up Nation bring to you our Nation Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Jon Blayne, Carl Ross, Kevin Statman McDuck, Ezra Finger, and Stephen Wyand.
Welcome, everybody, to the latest episode of the Our Nation Sports Show, coming at you like we do every Thursday night. You want to join us? There is 3 ways you can do that. Option 1, if you're in Discord, go to the Our Nation Sports Show. That's where you can listen. That's where you can call. That's where you can interact with all of us. Option 2, if you're on YouTube, go to the chat window. Chat us up in there. We will definitely read your comments on there. And option number 3, because yes, folks, we have 3 options, is you can go to our social media accounts. And where can you find us on social media, you may ask? Oh, that's very simple. Go to Twitter, go to Facebook, go to Instagram. We're there. Find us there. We post every day. But guys, how in the hell are we all doing tonight?
Doing great. What's up, man? Let's do this.
As always, let me introduce everybody in case you have not seen the show before. Joining us as always from the Midwest, our own Ezra. Ezra, how you doing tonight?
What's going on, guys? I'm ready to talk some baseball, some UFC, a little bit of NFL free agency. Let's get rocking and rolling, good brothers.
Absolutely. And as always, he is our stat man. He's also a pain in the ass because he brings up certain things that drives me up a freaking wall. That's Kevin. Kevin, what's going on?
It's all love. It's all love. Trust me. It's
I
all
know.
love.
I know.
Taylor Swift heart doesn't mean much.
Now,
It is all good over here. I have the best background tonight since finally the city of Boston, the state of Massachusetts are allowing fans back in the stands for not just the Bruins who are playing right now, but also for the Celtics and for the Boston Red Sox and hopefully for the Patriots down in the fall. It's only 12%, but whatever, it works.
It's a start.
It's fine. It's normal. It's good. Hallelujah.
he is our audio producer. He is the gentleman who you just heard before doing the voiceover for our intro. That's Stevie Wonder, Stephen Wyand. Steve, what's going on?
Let's go. Let's do this, baby.
And as always, I go to the guy who's pretty much kept me in check for most of the show and other stuff too. That's Carl Roberts. Carl, what's going on?
What's up?
Nothing, I before we even get to that, we are going to be joined in about, I would say, 10 minutes or so by our own Joe Loban, Joe in North Carolina, as you know him on Twitter. Talk to NASCAR because there's a kind of a big race going on this weekend.
Yep.
In Bristol. So we'll definitely get to that.
Yes.
But guys, as you heard in our intro tonight, we do have a pretty big show for you because the last couple of weeks we have been previewing the NLS, the ALS, the National League Central, the NL Central.
Yep.
And it all comes down to tonight. Because not only are we going to be previewing two divisions tonight, we're going to be previewing two divisions that many people would say are what makes up most of the Busted Open Nation. And that is your American League East and your National League East will be talked about tonight. But guys, let's talk quickly, as we mentioned before, Elgin Baylor passed away
Yes.
earlier this week. We have our, not to pull back the curtain that much, we have our pre-show meeting Monday nights, and that's when the news broke. So does anybody have anything to say about Elgin Baylor before we get into the ball?
I would just like to say that, our thoughts and prayers go out to his entire family. And he was one of the greatest basketball players of his generation. I mean, the guy had a smooth jump shot, and he was a great defender. And he was also, part of one of the greatest basketball teams and one of the greatest organizations of all time. And man, I mean, LA's always had those players, man. They had Baylor and the great Jerry West and, all those players in the 60s and then in the 80s, with Magic Johnson, and Kareem and, all those guys, man. I mean, the Laker organization has always had great talent throughout their historic, run with their franchise. And, man, what a huge loss for the basketball world. I mean, this guy was one hell of a player. And, just guy was amazing.
Yeah. You think of him, that's what you think of the old Lakers. Lakers that pretty much dominated the NBA back in the day.
Just like in the 90s and in the early to mid 2000s, we think of the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah. Elgin Baylor was I think with the Lakers in the 60s.
Yes.
Actually started in
He was actually the
1958.
executive of the Lakers.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he will definitely be missed. I mean, unfortunately, more and more now, we're seeing a lot, especially between last year and this year, a lot of these big name guys who a lot of us remember growing up watching are not around anymore.
No.
And
No.
that's the one thing I always stress, and I know they always stress this on Busted Open, give your flowers to
While
the
they're
person
alive.
while they're alive, because you saw it. I mean, crap, you saw it today. I will get into it when we get into baseball. But the baseball world today lost Dr. Bobby Brown, the cardiologist, at the age of 96, who played for the Yankees. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't the mother from Arrested Development?
Yes, Jessica Walter. She also was Archer's mother in the show. And the other one that I know her from is Fran in the show Dinosaurs back in the
Yep.
early to mid 90s.
Yep.
And for those who don't know what Dinosaurs is, it's the one with the not the mama.
Not the mama. Not the mama.
I grew up on
Carl
that show.
Carl knows. John, I think we know once you hear not the mama, but if that's not said, people are probably going to look at you funny.
People don't look at me funny now.
Another
Okay,
one
more funny in your case, John.
Thanks.
Another one that happened this week, and when this broke on Monday as well. This happened a couple days ago during our meeting. A surfer was surfing, and was struck by lightning. And to those that don't know, lightning is my biggest fear. I don't mind it when I'm inside a house, but if I am out in the opening outside and I hear that thunder coming, I know, oh no, lightning is in the area. Lightning can possibly strike in this area. And I get so fearful of lightning. And the one time I was on a boat, we were at Lake Tillery, and no lie, it was thundering and lightning as I was playing The Thunder Rolls by Garth Brooks. And I thought, wow, this would be one hell of a way to go out. I don't want to, but man, that was a crazy trying to get back to the dock.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so that young lady there was actually training for the Olympics in Tokyo, which is debuting the surfing world.
I'm trying to remember her name. Was it like Caitlin something? I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I
Drawing a blank right now, but yeah, man, that had to be scary, man. You know, training and then boom, out of nowhere, lightning.
The whole
Salvadoran
thing.
surfer Catherine Diaz.
Thank you,
Kevin.
Stabhead. That's why
Pleasure.
I keep you around.
Oh, it's not for my my jokes and wit and my face for video.
But yeah, our thoughts go out to Catherine as well. I mean, that was, oof.
that was just insane.
She was only 22.
Correct.
But yeah, you want to. I mean, they always say, you know, you have a very small chance to get hit by lightning, and that's why, like I said before, and then I want to move on because I want to have the show be more positive than how we started it off tonight.
Well, we do have one that I'm bringing up that is not positive. That we'll get into that. It's hockey related.
And then I have something later on that I want to get to that's not positive as well. That really drove me nuts last night. But anyways,
Okay, believe me, we'll get into all that. Believe me, we have a lot on the docket.
a lot.
All right, I guess I'm going to be the one that have to go and find the positive stuff, eh?
You are the stat man after all. Find positive
We know it
stuff.
won't be with your Red Sox.
Oh,
Ooh.
oh, it's getting heated up in here, folks.
Wow.
All right. I'll remember that one. I'll remember that one in an hour.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Hey, I got something here. From Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network. It is a trade in the NFL. The New York Giants are receiving Cam Newton for a bag of balls and a crusty White Castle wrapper.
Why would they raid my garbage can? All right, but guys,
Tremendous.
we do have some NFL stuff to get to because,
Yes.
man, even though we think, even when we sit there and think, oh, there's nothing big that happened in the NFL world. Oh, no.
No.
No, this free agency has been wild.
Yeah.
Very.
We just some stuff that came out today. Colt McCoy is set to be with the Arizona Cardinals. No deal has been put in place, but feeling among sources in the NFL world is that he probably will sign with Arizona. Sticking with Arizona for a second, Malcolm Butler did sign with them. It was reported earlier today on a 1-year deal. One thing we're noticing a lot now, and I want to get you guys, I don't know if we mentioned this last week at all, is that you're seeing a lot of 1-year deals.
People are taking shortcuttage of money because of COVID last year, because a lot of teams didn't make a lot of money.
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about last week. And you're seeing that more and more now. But you're seeing, I mean, I think it happens once every 10 minutes now that my watch is freaking going off because Adam Schefter is reporting, that this person gets signed or this person gets signed or this person gets traded. And I mean, let me ask you guys this. I'll send this around to you guys. Out of any NFL free agency, do you guys think this has been the most busiest the free agency has been?
Listen, I mean, free agency has always been busy no matter where you look, no matter what year it's been. There's always been those moves that you don't think it's going to happen, but it happens. But this year, man, it's been crazy. I mean, I thought that AJ Green going to the Cardinals was going to be an interesting move because I thought that him and Hopkins and at the time Larry Fitzgerald was on the team at the time, and then Larry Fitzgerald announces that he wants to test the free agency waters.
Yeah, I'm going to Schefter's Twitter right now to see what other big signings have happened today because, man, like I said before,
also Deshaun Jackson goes to the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah. Let's see here. Washington football team has signed wide receiver Adam Humphries today.
That's according to Field Yates.
Yeah. Like we mentioned before, Colt McCoy is set to meet with the Arizona Cardinals. Actually, I stand corrected. He's set to meet with them next week. And from what I'm reading from Schefter's tweet here, there's a good chance it will result in a deal which would lead him to be Murray's backup. I'm going to throw this out to you guys. You guys think Arizona's doing all this to make a run?
Any team that's doing all this is to make a run.
Absolutely.
It's just a matter of execution on what they have.
Well, my only thing is this. We saw what Tampa Bay did when they brought in Brady. They brought Brady in, Gronk in, and also look what happened with them. Are teams going to now sit there and say, oh, we have to load up in the offseason and maybe we'll have the Tampa Bay effect?
It's not just the offensive end that you have to load up on. You have to load up on the defensive side of the ball as well.
Defense and special teams.
Okay, but look what they've done. You got JJ. They picked up Malcolm Butler. When we talked about Arizona a couple weeks ago, the Cardinals last year had the number 1 ranked defense. You can't go higher than number 1.
Nope.
John, let me put it this way to you. Kevin can vouch for this. Look at what the Patriots just did this year in the free agency. Okay? The signings we just made, would you have expect any of them to come to the Patriots?
No.
Exactly.
Well, the interesting thing that I heard from my local radio about just those signings is they've seen some of the teams that have done these big years, these big free agent spending things. Hey, it's kind of like Oprah, the episode of her show where she gave everybody in the audience a car. You get a big contract. 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 You're all getting big contracts. But it equates to about 5 wins extra added on for the next season. So it does have a little bit of success. And if you put that with the Patriots, they were 7-19 last year. This season, the NFL is going to be a 17-game season, most likely. So that would put them at a 12-5 team if you add the 5 wins. However, the second year after these big free agent signings is the hardest part. They go back 5.5 games. So you're now looking at a 7-10 or even a 6-11 team because it is the 5.5. So you kind of have to go, could be another loss, could be a win.
But also, too, somebody asked Kraft why you made all these signings. He goes, I'm in the business to win. If these guys, are those that are going to get me the wins, I'm signing them.
I also found it interesting that he said that he's never, in the 27 years he's been the New England Patriots owner, he's never had to spend as much as he had this year.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is an indictment on Bill, the GM, because of the deficiencies that he's drafted. I mean, the guy can't go and draft a wide receiver to save his life.
No.
Last year, he wasted a 5th-round pick on a kicker that they just cut completely. Like, Benito, he's gone. And the best kicker in the draft from last season, Roberto Blankenship for Indianapolis, was an undrafted free agent. He signed with Indy.
Yep.
So you could have had him. You could have gotten Rohrwasser on an undrafted free agent contract. Instead, you took a 5th-round pick on him when you could have gotten a Tyler Johnson who helped Tampa Bay out. You could have gotten so many other different players that would have been able to help. And this has happened so many times throughout the years. Now, apparently, they're trying to get rid of N'Keal Harry. And to be honest, okay, fine, whatever, but it's not going to help your resume as Bill the GM. Bill the coach, one of the greatest of all time. Bill the GM, there's a lot of question marks, and there's one giant stain.
Yeah, and I think
he's made some questionable moves throughout his entire career as a GM. I mean, getting rid of certain receivers and certain defensive players. I mean, the guy, he's a genius of a head coach, but the guy doesn't know how to make the right business decisions for his team and to keep chemistry, because he thinks that, oh, I can have random Joe Schmo come into the offense and make Tom Brady be good when he was with the Patriots all those years.
Well, that's the thing with Bill for years. He's always, us Patriots fans, we tear our hair out when we go and see that he trades out of the 1st round in the 2nd, and then out of the 2nd and the 3rd. He's now got 10 picks between the 3rd and the 5th round, but they're guys that you never know if you're really going to hit on them. And honestly, you never know if you're going to hit on a draft pick anyway.
Exactly.
1st round quarterbacks, I think the number, if I remember correctly, is 30% have been successful as a 1st round quarterback. And there have been, I don't know, there's usually 3 to 4 per year that are taken in the 1st round, maybe a little bit less in certain years.
Yeah, those usual quarterbacks that are considered to be high draft commodities.
Yeah.
And they don't succeed, like Jamarcus Russell, like Johnny Football, and
well, this year,
Trubisky.
if you look at 30% this year, there's 5 quarterbacks that are in a lot of these mock drafts I've been looking at.
Yep.
Are slated to be picked. 5 quarterbacks potentially picked in the 1st round. You've got Trevor Lawrence, which is a no-brainer. You got Justin Fields. You got Zach Wilson of BYU.
Yep.
Trey Lance, they're now considering a 1st round draft pick. And then Mac Jones of Alabama, who they're considering a 1st round draft pick. There's potential that all 5 of those guys can be picked in the 1st round. And the first 4 names that I mentioned, Mel Kiper Jr. has them going 1 through 4. I might have messed up Wilson and Fields, but the fact that there's 5 quarterbacks, if you go by that 30% number, that's only 1 quarterback who will be successful, because who's really going to go and split the 2nd quarterback in half?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is also, you bring up, Justin Fields. There's been a lot of rumblings that they think Fields will end up in Jacksonville. And the only reason for that is because of who the head coach is.
I doubt they're going to go and have Justin Fields go in. Trevor Lawrence is the clear and away number 1 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, but think about it now. Think about it now. Fields goes to Jacksonville. Jacksonville's head coach is Urban Meyer, who was Fields' coach when they were at Ohio State. I think realistically, if you're the Jets, I don't know who 3 and 4 are this year.
So number 3 is Miami via Houston, and I believe number 4 is Atlanta, but I'm not entirely positive.
Okay, I'll tell you this much: if it's Atlanta, I doubt that if they go for a quarterback, they're going to be moving on from Matt Ryan more than likely.
You know what?
Well, not necessarily, because he's still pretty good. And yes, it is Atlanta. Number 5 is Cincinnati that rounds out the top 5.
Okay, so I don't think
Ryan's still pretty good. You could go and take, like, if it is that 1 through 4, you could go and take a Trey Lance or a Zach Wilson in Atlanta and have him be behind Matt Ryan for a few years, and then Matt either retires, or he gets shipped off to another team.
The rumblings I'm hearing is Wilson probably ends up with the Jets.
I've been hearing the same thing.
I've been hearing that.
But if Justin Fields goes number 1 to Jacksonville instead of Trevor Lawrence, I
That right
think the
there
Jets
opens
would
the
be
waters.
incredibly stupid to not pick Trevor Lawrence.
Well, I mean, we're talking about the Jets here.
Yeah, they'll end up picking a safety from Rutgers or something because he, he was. Oh wait, no, that's the Patriots. Sorry, never mind.
I think
No,
I think Alabama's quarterback is going to go to Atlanta.
Well, here's the thing also. Here's the other thing also, Fran. See that you bring up Alabama. There's a rumblings their wide receiver could be going early on in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
The one who
Good.
won the Heisman.
Yeah,
And the
No,
rumblings
Devonta
with
Smith.
that. Yeah, the rumblings with that is shut up, Carl. But the problem is the Devontae Smith guy, they've been saying him to the Giants. They think he'll be there right at number 11. You put him in that with those guys, with who the Giants have picked up, with Rudolph and Goldway. Fans have to watch out because the Giants may be a little dangerous there. But Carl, what's up?
So on YouTube, our good friend Alex Morton turned and said he's heard Lance could end up going to Atlanta.
Ooh, it's a possibility. I mean, obviously, we'll get more draft stuff as we get closer to the draft this year. But yeah, we're gonna be Monday morning quarterback in this whole thing until we get to Cleveland in a couple of weeks. But
So, looking at a mock draft from Josh Edwards of CBS Sports, he's got in the top 5, he's got Trevor Lawrence to the Jaguars, Zach Wilson to the Jets, Penei Sewell, offensive lineman from Oregon, going to Miami. And then the Broncos trading up with Atlanta at number 4 and taking Justin Fields. And then Rashawn Slater to Cincinnati, an offensive lineman from Northwestern at number 5.
Okay.
that would make sense though for them to go after an offensive lineman, Cincinnati, because look what happened with Joe Burrow.
Hold on. He just popped.
Well, the reason I popped is I went further down. So, of course, the other quarterback names that we've mentioned, Trey Lance, they have, he's got him going to Carolina.
Okay.
But then what I popped at was in this mock draft, they have the Patriots trading up with Atlanta again. So Atlanta continues to go back down, getting into the number 9 spot in the draft and taking Mac Jones.
Ooh.
Now, this is a mock draft, so obviously that night I fully expect Bill to, let's make a trade to get to 21, and we'll make a trade to get to 34.
If they get Matt Jones,
Some other breaking news happening,
Well,
folks.
Yeah,
This is why we love doing a live show. You get constantly breaking news here. Jerron Reed of the Seahawks, it's expected that he will be leaving the organization, according to Adam Schefter. They could either trade him or just release him. Ended still to be determined, but more than likely he will be out the door, because he sent out a tweet roughly about 15 minutes ago that said, "It's been real 12. Tomorrow at 1, it's official. On to the next chapter."
wow.
Yeah, folks, believe me, we will continue to give you guys the latest news, but I'm just trying to see if there's any other NFL things going on.
Slowly going down.
I'm continuing to look at the mock draft. They put Jalen Waddle at number 12 to San Francisco. Devontae Smith at number 17 to I almost did it again, Oakland, but it's really Las Vegas. I've been doing that for a few years with the former San Diego Chargers, now LA. I keep calling them San Diego, so this is going to take a while.
Yeah.
And nothing really of note after that, just because to me, it feels like it just kind of drops off a little bit. But who knows? We'll see how it goes on that Thursday night, which I believe will be live for.
Absolutely, we will be.
Yes.
Some other news just to get to regarding the NFL. Marcus Robinson is re-signing with the Chiefs on a 1-year deal.
Okay.
Let's see here. Here's an interesting thing. We mentioned earlier, Malcolm Butler is playing all of his home games now at the State Farm Stadium, because obviously that's where the Cardinals play. It's the first time he played there. Obviously, then it was known as University of Pittsburgh Stadium, where he recorded the most well-known interception in Super Bowl history.
The pick that shouldn't have been a pick.
Mhm.
A team that should have ran said ball on the 1-yard line. A team that had a second Super Bowl in their grasp. And Pete Carroll had to get cutesy-wootsy and have Russell Wilson throw the ball on the 1-yard line with the best running back at the time in the National Football League, Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah. By the way, Carl, do you have anything going on YouTube?
Yeah, it's actually a question for Mr. Ezra over here. Coming from our good friend Hijacker Mike.
What up,
Ezra,
Hijacker?
where is Lulu getting drafted?
To the Houston Oilers.
It was also announced yesterday that Jadeveon Clowney was set to visit with the Browns. He was back home.
Oh, dear God, bless America.
Yeah.
I
Also,
better check on Anthony from Nebraska.
We
He
know
might
some,
be having a
we
heart
know
problem.
some
Yeah.
Browns fan is jumping for joy because Clowney is supposed to, like you said, to meet with Cleveland. We know he's jumping for joy.
Who would have knew? A guy with the last name Clowney would be going to the Cleveland Browns.
Hey, at least his last name isn't. No, I can't say it. It was also announced, by the way, that the starting quarterback for the Bears will be Andy Dalton. That came out of.
Ezra, you're happy.
I'll leave my thoughts on that to another time.
Oh,
Also,
come on,
was
just
now-
go. Because believe me, the Red Rifle in Chicago is going to go exactly how it went in Cincinnati and exactly how it went in Dallas.
It's going to
Now
be
the tubes and no playoff wins.
dun. It's going to be a 7
Ooh.
of destruction.
Ooh.
You have another comment
Go
there,
to
Carl?
YouTube.
Yeah, this one's a good one. So Greg McDonald goes, I remember reading that the Patriots are rumored to be really high on Justin Fields.
I heard that too.
Interesting.
Kev, is that related to you?
Yeah, he might be. It's my younger brother who's listening in.
Oh. Congratulations. Hello. Also, two of my sons actually watch it for the first time, so.
Sorry you're related to Kevin.
Let's see if the next comment's going to roll in that I think is going to roll in.
Let's keep the show going here. It was also announced the Jets have signed former 49ers running back Tevin Coleman to a 1-year deal. It's weird to think that you look at this. You look at what the Jets have done now, and a lot of people are saying the Jets off-season wise has been one of the best off seasons they've had. Because all they're just doing is picking up everybody from the 49ers.
Right, but they all can't play.
No, exactly.
And they're not picking the most important thing to protect the quarterback, the offensive line. You can have wide receivers galore, tight ends galore, running backs galore, but if you don't have the big guys protecting you in the trenches, you're going to lose and be a big, fat loser.
I was going to say, Steven, where have you heard that one before?
I've wondered, Johnny boy. I wonder where I've heard that before. Because I know a certain guy in North Carolina who is a diehard New York Jets fan. Joe M will agree with my sentiments and your sentiments and all of our sentiments as well, that the Jets are continuing to spiral out of control.
They're just known as just end the season.
The season hasn't even started yet.
Well, the season
hasn't even started yet, and there's already interceptions recorded.
The season hasn't even started yet. It will only start in September. And you know what? The season is over. Interceptions are happening. Fumbles are happening. And probably sometime down the line, another butt fumble is happening as well. Because
no, because there's no butt fumble because Mark Sanchez isn't a quarterback.
I know. But if they don't have an offensive lineman to protect their quarterback.
I'm not defending the team here.
if they're not going to have offensive line protecting their quarterback, maybe they might have another butt fumble 2.0 electric boogaloo happening to the Jets.
And also, it was announced two other things I want to get to in the NFL world. It was announced T.Y. Hilton is going to head back to Indianapolis. He re-signed with them on a 1-year deal worth $10 million, including $8 million of it guaranteed.
Okay.
In a contract like that, wouldn't you just turn around and just give him the whole $10 million guaranteed?
No.
No. He's
You
had a
always
lot
have to
of
have
injuries.
incentives.
He's
Yeah,
he's
with
also
the
had a
guy
lot of
who's-
injuries the last few years.
Yeah, but the
so
guy who's as injury prone as T.Y.
Yeah.
Hilton is, and we have seen that person, it's too much of a risk to give him money guaranteed and him underperform.
yeah.
And it was also announced that obviously we know April 29th to May 1st will be the NFL draft, as we've been talking about. And like Kevin said earlier, we will be live on air night one.
For
But
the
it was
entire time, guys.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun. We'll
From
get
the
more.
start all the way to the end of night one, we will be live on air.
And
God, the next day is Friday.
we may have a few other things up my sleeve. I haven't got a lot of it out yet, but stay tuned for that one.
Also,
I would like
also
to go and
wanna-
add one quick thing. The Bruins
ahead.
just scored a goal. It is now 1-0 against the New York Islanders.
Correct.
I am
Oh,
multitasking. Oh, wait a minute. Are you an Islanders fan, John? Okay.
Yeah, I'm an Islanders fan.
We're going to have some fun again.
Oh wait, I have breaking news here, by the way. Eli
Oh, yeah?
Manning is coming out of retirement and joining the Patriots.
Yeah, you're funny.
You're very funny.
You think you're
It's
funny?
not as spicy as Cam Newton going to the Giants.
Shut up, Wendy. Shut up.
That's about as funny as
I don't-
finding shrimp tails in your cinnamon toast crunch.
Yes.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes.
Also wanted to relay. Also, don't forget. Also, the Bears have signed former Kansas City Chiefs running back Damian Williams to a 1-year deal, adding him alongside Tariq Cohen as another offensive weapon for the Bears.
The
Yeah.
guy who ran the Chiefs into immortality in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I had a comeback for that one, but I forgot where I was going to go with it. Oh yeah, what I was saying before. Hold on.
Let's just
Okay,
move
yeah.
on to another sport.
Yeah, no. One other thing, NFL related. I totally forgot about this. Ed Warder reported that the Cowboys have informed pass rusher Aldon Smith that they were going to move on from him after one season, after being reinstated last season following a series of suspensions. Smith had 5 sacks during his first NFL game since 2015. He is now a free agent.
Oof.
You put him on a team that has leaders that can basically put him in his place, he'll change his act real quick.
Guy was a great
No.
player for San Francisco.
I don't think so.
I'm with Carl.
Guy
There's
was
some
a great player in
players
San
that
Francisco.
He
But-
was a great player, but after
But I agree with you, Carl and Kevin. I don't care how great of a player you are. If you have a guy that has an attitude like that, no matter how many leaders are involved with that football organization, they cannot set him on the path that they want him to. He has to want to set the path for himself.
I mean, John,
Yeah.
I'll give you a prime example. Okay. Antonio
Okay.
Brown.
Yep.
Most biggest egotistical maniac there is. Belichick picked him up 1 week. Gone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know why? Belichick doesn't want egos.
No.
he
wants
doesn't
you to
want
play the game.
egos. He wants you to go and play the game. But the biggest reason was the fact that in the middle of the investigation into some of the sexual assault allegations he was facing, he started messaging and texting the women that were accusing him of this stuff.
Yep.
In very violent terms, threatening terms. So it's a no shit Sherlock type of moment that he got
Right.
himself canned.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Believe me, I fully
know?
understand what you're saying.
Albert Hainsworth is another player that comes to mind where I remember
Yes.
him as a Tennessee
Holy
Titan.
crap.
He went and stomped on a Cowboy lineman's face. with the cleat. He went to New England for what, one season, I think, and
Yeah, and then Belichick cut
he
him.
he cut him after a season. He really didn't do much.
Oh, here's another one for you, Kevin. You know this guy too well. Chad Ochocinco,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
the former.
Hey, but you know what? It was cool. It's the same thing as Doug Flutie when he was on the Patriots towards the end of his career. He kicked Ochocinco kicked the field goal in a preseason game. That was just really kind of cool to go and see. Just like it was cool in 06 to see Doug Flutie nail a drop kick extra point.
Yep.
That was really cool. But other than that, Ochocinco wasn't Ochocinco anymore. He was Chad Johnson as a high schooler.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, we're also forgetting another one. If we're going to mention, wide receivers who had interesting careers, and look at Terrell Owens.
No, one even better. One better, and I hate to say it was a giant.
Plexico Burrs.
Bingo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was on the Giants and the Steelers, and then he was on the highest of highs, and then he was in the nightclub and shot himself in the leg.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And Terrell Owens, I don't look at him as a bad wide receiver. He had an ego the size of Texas. You know, I mean, come on, this is the guy who started crying about Tony Romo going, "That's my quarterback."
That's my quarterback, man.
Like,
come on.
Like, okay, dude, come on. I mean, he
had that one great year in Philadelphia.
But he was an excellent wide receiver, and him and Randy Moss, I stumped for years that they should.
Randy Moss was another great
another great wide receiver too.
Yep.
I mean, it gave birth to an ESPN segment called "You Got Mossed."
Yes, it
which
did.
I love watching.
Yeah, but we're seeing a lot of these guys who, not even just in football, in any of these sports, who make a lot of money and decide it's time for them to go make an ass of themselves.
See, the problem is now, John, the players nowadays don't show the respect that the players of the past did.
Nope.
No.
They respected the game. They also respected each other off the field.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I mean, you even go as far as saying back then, I mean, I'm going back to the days of, Mantle. You can't tell me any player now is loyal to a team, even.
And then look at some of the most violent, gruesome injuries in the world of the NFL. I mean, when Lawrence Taylor had
Joe Theismann's leg.
Yep.
Well, blew out his knee.
Yeah.
I mean, he turned around and sat there and was screaming it for the medics to get to the field because he knew he was done.
And then
They showed that quick little story. They showed that in the movie The Blind Side, right at the very beginning of the movie. And I remember watching that with my then girlfriend. And, she's got the popcorn. She's like, "Oh, I can't wait to watch this movie." She sees the hit, and they show the hit from the other side where you actually see the leg
go beep,
like snap in two. And she's like, "Here's the popcorn I can't eat after watching that." And I went, "Okay." No.
And, yeah, go ahead, Carl.
Alex just brought up another good name, Michael Vick. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was a great quarterback, but he stupidly got himself in trouble with dogfighting.
Okay, but I mean, there's so many names here. I mean, we could sit here. We could do probably a 3-hour show on NFL players who have screwed up their career.
Well, we basically spent 40 minutes on it on NFL already.
Well, my point is this. There are more people we can look at.
Yes.
I
That's
mean,
for another time, another show.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. But let's get quickly. I know we were supposed to have Joe on tonight, but unfortunately, he has some stuff that came up. Carl, do you want to talk briefly about the significance of this weekend's race in NASCAR?
So this weekend coming up is the NASCAR series at Bristol. It is actually a dirt track. It's not a street track or a regular NASCAR sanctioned racetrack, but dirt. It's at the Bristol Motor Speedway. They converting the concrete oval into an old school dirt track style. So you will actually see them going sideways. They actually had to change all the tires from the slick tires to almost like a mud style, like a tire you would see on your personal cars now with the tread and all that. So that's what they did for that.
Yeah. But let me ask you this now. how much of a difference is that going to play into the actual race itself, though?
Oh, a dirt track? A lot.
Oh hell yeah! It's gonna play a big difference from the from the control of the vehicle that the driver is gonna have. It's gonna be a little bit trickier.
John, did you ever see the movie on 3? The one about Dale Earnhardt Sr.?
No.
Okay. Barry Peppers played Dale Earnhardt Sr. in the movie 3.
Okay.
Dale Earnhardt Sr., which is actually Dale Earnhardt II, Jr. is the third. His father was Ralph.
Okay.
And he was a dirt track racer.
Okay.
A lot of people don't realize is NASCAR was originally moonshiners got together and would race.
Mm-hmm.
There was no concrete, no pavement. They were racing in the back roads. So it was all dirt tracks.
Okay.
And that's how a lot of the tracks are nowadays, is the smaller tracks, I would say, not just for NASCAR, but regular minis or midget cars are all dirt tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Total different control of the car. And instead of you normally seeing them go sideways, side by side, they're actually sliding sideways around the bends, around the turns.
All right. I know I get it. That's because like I said, where I am, usually don't get NASCAR on that much. And
I mean, John, we're in the New York area. Yeah. It would be on Fox, if anything.
Yeah. But I remember there was, correct me if I'm wrong here, and again, I'll be wrong on here. Wasn't there the whole issue a couple of years ago with something with Tony Stewart? And
correct. That style track is what they're racing on this weekend.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
That's a dirt track.
Okay. Okay. No, okay. Because it's like I knew I had heard something.
That's the one where supposedly he killed the driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a dirt track so you have your stock cars that you see NASCAR drive.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go down to your midgets, quarter midgets, and minis. It's all different size cars, all different regulations, all different rules. And that's what they're going by.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I'm learning.
Oh, and John, by the way, it's now 2-0 Boston over the Islanders. Hey.
Pay to my ass. I stopped myself real quick. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
Oh, and what a great sight to see on my TV. Fans in the stands clapping.
Yep.
Oh, it's awesome.
It ain't my Chicago Blackhawks, so I'm good.
Still upset about 2013. Seriously, I was listening to Game 6, and I'm like, oh my God, we have the lead with like 2 minutes to go. Oh my God, we're going to see a Game 7 of this already awesome series. And then within 3 minutes, I went from, oh my God, this is awesome, to, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Did they really just score 2 with like a minute?
I remember that 'cause I was listening to the game on NHL radio, and the guy was like, score, the game is tied. And then it's like a minute later, oh, down the other end, score. I was like, my God, like this is crazy.
I worked through to 11s at the time, and I remember my boss that night was looking at me. I was a cleaner at the time, and I got my head down on the bathroom part, just like so dejected after what I had heard. She's like, Kevin, what's the matter? I'm like, we were 2 minutes from a Game 7. And now the Blackhawks, and I can hear it in my ear, the Blackhawks just won the Stanley Cup. Oh. There was a lot of Jack Daniels involved to wash away that pain. Yeah, you Chelsea dead.
Since we're talking about NHL, let's go right into the NHL.
Absolutely.
So before we get into the news that I wanted to bring up, I just happened to run across something, and it's bad news. St. Louis Blues legend Bob Plager was killed in a car accident yesterday at the age of 78. He played for the team, if it will pull back up. He joined the team in 67, played 14 seasons in the AHL, 11 with the Blues, and helped St. Louis to 3 consecutive Stanley Cup finals.
Oof.
He was also him and his 3 brothers were also part of the teams. So it was the total of the 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
St. Louis retired his jersey in 2017. Again, he was 78 years old.
And I think the one good thing about his life, he got to see St. Louis win the Stanley Cup.
He was part of 3 of them. I believe it said 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially he got to see them win in his last years on this earth.
Oh yeah, and he was the original member of the Blues when they joined the NHL as an expansion club.
Yep. They were when they joined along the, I forget off the top of my head the other 5 teams that joined them with the original 6. The St. Louis Blues were like the cream of the crop of those 6.
Oh, yeah.
They had 1 Stanley Cup loss to the Bruins. That was the one that gave birth to the goal and the statue that is currently on Causeway Street outside TD Garden of Bobby Orr. Yep. That's such a shame. I had heard the other day that he had passed away. I knew he was an older gentleman, so I figured it might have been natural causes, being 78, like you said, Carl. I didn't realize it was a car accident. That's tough.
That's the worst part. So before I get into the main reason of NHL news, Canada is to lessen the quarantine for NHL players traded across the border from 14 days to 7.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're an American player, got traded up to Montreal or Toronto, you only have 7 days to quarantine, not 14. And also, Montreal Canadiens games postponed through Sunday because of COVID-19.
Yeah, I think from what I heard, that was the first set of games in their division, I think.
I believe so.
That were postponed for COVID, but yeah. Fortunately, COVID is still around.
Now we're going to get into the subject that I want to get into, and it's a big topic. Yeah. And you might hear me go on a little bit of a rant.
Carl, when you're done with this, because I got a feeling I know what you're about to talk about, I do have a couple of quick hockey notes that I want to go and discuss, one of which involves a screen share.
Oh, okay. That'll be eventually. But, however, during the Nashville Predators game the other night, an NHL referee decided to penalize the Nashville Predators, and he was stupidly wearing a hot mic. And it was Tuesday night versus the Detroit Red Wings. And this Mr. Referee turns and says, I wanted to penalize him. I wanted to get it over with early.
Yep.
So, give me a little bit of background of this certain individual. He was set to retire at the end of this season. He's been an on-ice official since 1999 and has reffed 1,334 games. Now, mind you, back in, where was it? 2015, yes. In 2015, said ref was removed from officiating a New Jersey Devils home game after being photographed at a bar drinking with a reporter.
Oh, boy.
Jeez.
So, NHL, the coaches actually, they asked the coach of the Nashville Predators his thoughts. He goes, listen, it's out of my control. the NHL will handle this the way they need to. I give that coach mad respect.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, it was a penalty against his team, but he composed himself properly and said the NHL will do their investigation. So the exact wording was, it wasn't much, but I wanted to get a penalty. I don't know, I'm not using the cursing word. Penalty against Nashville early. So the NHL turned around and told ESPN that they had an open investigation on to this one. Nashville won 2-0. But the next day they turned around and informed that he was suspended pending the outcome of the investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Less than 24 hours later, they turned around and says he will no longer be officiating any NFL games ever again. NHL, sorry. Too many damn NL and
Too many
nationals.
damn and national.
Yeah.
Stupid. Like, just can we get rid of the national this, national that, national that? Just call it the A.
Hockey League, Football League. That's it.
A, American Football League. A, American Hockey League.
Right.
A, American Basketball Association.
But so my big thing is you're trying to, and you're going to say this stuff before you retire. Are you that stupid? I mean, and not only that, I in a way, I blame the NHL for allowing this ref to come back on the ice after that 2015 incident, knowing that you have social media out there.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, Carl, but what you're not bringing up as well, this guy, even though he hasn't had incidents in the NHL at the time for the last 6 years, he has that track record that at any given
and it carries with you for life.
Mm-hmm.
Because look at some of the NBA referees that have been in the league, like Joe Crawford.
Yep.
Crawford was notoriously known for being a asshole. The guy had an agenda that he would do things. And him and Tim Duncan got into a legendary dispute.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but we're forgetting another guy here. We were talking about, refs who have had issues. Isn't there a ref who was in the NBA who's now in MLW?
Yeah. Donaghy, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, too, I forgot one other thing. Buffalo Sabres placed their interim head coach in COVID-19 protocol.
Speaking about Buffalo, did you hear the jokes that are coming out now about Buffalo?
No.
Buffalo set a record now. They've lost their 15th straight game in a row. So somebody sent out a tweet. 3 cities that need a hockey team. Quebec City, Houston, and the third one? Buffalo.
Well, not only that, their problem is they already lost their starting net goalie. Their backup, they just lost.
Oh, my.
Steven, I think you're going to be getting a call from Buffalo to head up there and be their goaltender.
Really?
Can you
Now,
please
I'm
go
gonna
and
say
play
this.
the Toronto Maple Leafs and beat the Toronto Maple Leafs? That will make my Bruins heart just so happy that
You know
not
what?
only did they get beat by their own arena's Zamboni driver, they would also get beaten by a blind man from North Carolina.
Yeah. You know what? You give a blind man a job to do that.
Now,
I
here's-
had the honor to protect this guy. My
Now-
guys, not you, because you had one job to protect your guys and you failed.
So each team has a third backup.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
But
There's the but.
what they could do is they can scout local talent and sign them to a 1-day contract,
Uh-huh.
1 week contract,
Uh-huh.
until that either the backup comes back or the main starter comes back.
Okay.
Yeah, but if I'm the main starter and I see how bad my team's doing, I'm to run to my coach and go, now listen, I'm not feeling well. I'm just gonna, stay out there.
No, if you're the main starter, you want to get back in as much as you can because you're losing money.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just think to me, I think Buffalo right now is just hitting that brick wall, so to speak.
Yeah.
Basically,
they're 6-21-4. That's good enough for
Last place.
definitely last place, but they've only got 16 points on the season.
And basically Buffalo is the NHL's version of the Jets.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, not to interrupt the conversation. Conversation's going great. And again, you're watching us on YouTube. Thank you for watching us. Continue the conversation there. Discord, same thing. But I had a question I want to bring up to all four of you right now. We're getting close to 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, we want to start baseball. Do we want to go right into baseball or do the Nation Night Fights and then come back to baseball?
Do the video.
Okay.
Video.
So, guys, we'll be taking a quick time out here. Let me just get everything set up first before I
And just to play this real quick, Hijacker Mike is the man for doing this because, man, last week when he got the idea to do a boxing report for this show, man, oh man, especially with that intro. My God, again, bro, mad props to you. That intro is dope, and keep it up, man. Because this is it's a lot of fun breaking down the latest news.
Yep, and
we will be back in a few.
And Kevin's got something real quick.
Yeah, let me go and say this real quick, just so we can kind of put a nice little bow on the hockey talk we just had. This came out earlier this afternoon due to positive COVID-19 test results within its Tier 1 testing group and in accordance with the University of Notre Dame policies, the NCAA and the Division I Men's Ice Hockey Committee, the Notre Dame hockey team will no longer participate in the 2021 NCAA Championship. This decision was made in consultation with the Albany County Public Health Department and the NCAA Medical Advisory Group.
Thank you, Kev. I forgot about that.
Yep, They were slated to go and play. They are the number 4 seed in the Albany Regional. They were slated to go and play the number 1 seed Boston College Eagles at 1 p.m. on Saturday in Albany, New York. That is now ruled a no contest, which this happened in the March Madness tournament over the weekend. And when it's ruled a no contest, it's a nicer way to say forfeit.
Yep.
So Notre Dame, unfortunately, is out of the men's ice hockey tournament. And John, would I be able to go and screen share real quick?
Can we do it after we come back? Can we use it as a tease?
Yes, we can use it as a tease, and it'll make mine and a lot of other nerd hearts very happy.
Okay, so guys, we'll be right back. But while we take our quick break, enjoy this great video done by our own Hijacker Mike. Brings you guys up to date on all things boxing. We'll be right back right after this.
Yeah, I see you staring at that number 1 contender. It's Nation Night Fights, and I want that title. That's right. Let's hit that bell, player. Let's get this rumble rolling. Let's go. Is you nervous, Cuddy? Yeah, I see you sweating. I see you. Ain't no time to turn back now. There's that bell, player. It's time to go now, Trick. What you saying? Ain't no time for backing out now. Coming at your orthodox stance style. Finna switch it up when I'm ready with your player. Hit you with that official southpaw proud. Come toss me that combo now. Before I throw this left and make you wobble, child. Oh, you gonna be hard-headed now? Screw it, I'm coming at you Iron Mike style. Dropping you to the canvas right now. That's right, player. Nation, welcome to Nation Night Fights, your boxing report weekly with your boy Hijacker Mike.
What's happening, Nation? Welcome to the second edition of Nation Night Fights, 3/25/21 edition. This is your weekly boxing report, recaps, fights, news, all that stuff for you in the world of boxing. I am your West Coast boy, Hijacker Mike. So let's get right into it. Let's start recapping the week of action and some upcoming news for boxing. Let's check it out. From Thursday, 3/18/21, Ring City, USA, live from Salinas, Puerto Rico, we had Alberto Machado, 22, 2, and 18 KOs versus Angel Fierro, 17 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 13 KOs. This was a lightweight 10 rounds bout. Fierro was put down in each of the first 2 rounds. Fierro got KO'd with a solid right hook to the body and a left hook to the head from Machado in the 6th round at the 2:18 mark. Machado was ahead on all 3 judges' scorecards in this fight before he was KO'd. And in women's competition, Marcela Cornejo, 13-4 with 5 KOs, got the win by unanimous decision versus Alma Ibarra, 7 wins, 1 loss, 4 KOs, in women's middleweight 8-round bout. This was a back and forth hard-hitting fight between the two, which could have been the best fight of the night. It was a unanimous decision for Cornejo in 8 rounds. It was 77-75, 79-73, 79-73 were the judges' scorecards on that fight. Next, in the junior bantamweight, we have Angel Acosta, 21 wins, 2 losses, 21 KO versus Gilbert Mendoza, 17 wins, 9 losses, 3 draws, and 8 KOs in an 8-round bout with a unanimous decision going to Angel Acosta, 79-72 across the board for all 3 judges on this unanimous decision. In another bout, a lightweight 6-round fight, Edwin Valentin, 9-0, 8 KOs versus Hector Marengo, 7 wins, 14 losses, 4 draws, and 4 KOs. Valentin got the TKO in the 5th round over Hector Marengo for the win in this fight. Now we'll go to some welterweight action, 8 rounds. Jose Roman, 10 wins, 0 losses, 5 KOs versus Roquel Junco, 10 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw, 6 KOs. Jose got the 8-round unanimous decision over Junco. Judges scored it 80-71, 80-72, and 80-72 in that fight. Next, we go to some bantamweight action, a 10-rounder, which had Jose Martinez get a decision in 10 rounds versus Israel Gonzalez. Martinez was 21-1-2 with 14 KOs, as Israel is 26-4 and 11 KOs in his career. And as we go to a light heavyweight challenge, a rematch with Joseph Ward, 2 wins, 1 loss, 2 KOs versus Marco Delgado, 7 wins, 1 loss, 5 KOs in a 6-round bout where Joe Ward got the unanimous decision in 6 rounds versus Marco Delgado with a score of 60-54 across the board. Now we move on to Saturday night, 3/20/21 from Wembley Arena. We have Lawrence Okolie destroys Krzysztof Glowacki to win the vacant WBO title for his 16th fight. Okolie began with a busy, stiff jab and a fast footwork, preventing Glowacki from settling himself into the fight. In the 4th round, Okolie hit Glowacki in the face, cutting his right eye, which I am sure added more weight to this bout for Glowacki. Okolie owned this fight from the get-go. He dropped Glowacki in the 6th round when Okolie, on the back foot, hit a jarring jab with a following powerful right hand as Krzysztof leaned forward right into the punch. Glowacki fell hard, got up, beat the count, but was very shaky and was rightly ruled out by the ref. Congratulations to Lawrence Okolie for winning the vacant WBO title in the cruiserweight division in only his 16th fight. On this undercard for that fight, the undercard saw wins from Chris Billum Smith, now 12-1, who won his 10-round decision in a tough fight, also dropping Pascal Ducar twice in his bout. As Ducar was swelling under his right eye, he still brought to the fight. Anthony Fowler with a statement stoppage of world-rated Jorge Forti. Fowler with a 3rd-round KO had dropped Forti with a sudden left for the first knockdown, as it was a struggle for Forti to make it back to his feet in the bout, then resumed. He was met with a right hand and he was out for the 10 count. Joe Cordina got a 10-round decision over Farouk Korbanov. Ramala Ali, 2-0, gets the 6th round decision over Beck Conley. Ellie Skatny, 2-0, looked good hitting combos and picking her shots against Melis Gangloff in a 6th round decision. Unified light heavyweight champ Artur Beterbiev stops Adam Dines in round 10 with a KO. This comes after a 519-day missing in action from the ring due to a rib injury and being ill from COVID for Artur. Artur had control pretty much of this whole fight versus Dines, landing plenty of combinations with some stiff jabs to the body and head. According to CompuBox, Beterbiev landed 159 of 560 punches, a 28%, while Dines connected with only 77 of his 402 punches, a 19% of his shot. In a bantamweight division bout, Lee McGregor, 10 wins, no losses, 8 KOs, made a statement by stopping defending European title holder Karim Guafiri 29-5, 9 KOs in the first round. McGregor dropped Guafiri in the opening minute with a debilitating body shot. He got up and held off an onslaught of shots, but it was a well-placed left hook to the body that dropped Guafiri for the final time, stopping the bout at 2:43 in the first round. Virgil Ortiz Jr., 17-0 with 17 KOs, the hype train going strong again tonight, passing a big key tough test against former title holder Maurice Hooker, 27 wins, 2 losses, 3 draws with 18 coming by way of KO, winning a 7th round stoppage in this bout. Both fighters had some great exchanges during some rounds as Ortiz took some of the heat Hooker dealt off to him, as Hooker won some rounds along the way, but Hooker was dropped with a left uppercut and a straight right in the 6th late in that round. Came out swinging in the 7th, but was dropped again within the first minute of that round. But later in the 7th, the fight was stopped when Hooker suffered a right hand injury and could not continue in the bout. During a post-fight interview, Ortiz looked directly at WBO welterweight champion Terrence Crawford and said he was more than willing to face the WBO welterweight champ. "I don't care if I'm ready or not. I want the fight," Ortiz noted. Also in women's action, Sanisa Estrada, 20 wins, no losses, 8 KOs, got the unanimous decision in a 10-round bout versus Annabelle Ortiz, 31, 4 losses, 4 by the way of KO. In another welterweight bout, Marcelino Lopez, 37 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 22 wins by KO, knocked out in the 5th round. Jairo Lopez, 27 wins, 12 losses, 18 by the way of KO. Marcelino was just too much power, dropping Jairo in the 2nd, 3rd, and 5th round to end it. Also got the call for a knockdown in the 4th, but it was actually a shove. In other men's action, Tristan Kalkuth, 8 wins, no losses, 6 by way of KO, got the 1st round KO versus Dustin Long, 4 wins, 2 losses, 2 draw, 4 by the way of KO. Kalkuth just took him out in 78 seconds in the 1st round with speed, aggression, and power to the body. From last Friday night, 319, bantamweight prospect Saul Sanchez, 16 wins, 1 loss, 9 KOs, dropped Frank Gonzalez, 8 wins, 2 losses, 4 KOs, 3 times en route to a knockout victory in the opening round. Under a minute into the bout, Sanchez dropped Gonzalez, landing an overhand right upstairs. Gonzalez beat the count, but was dropped again from a left-right combination to the head. Gonzalez beat the count again, but looked disoriented. Moments later, a right uppercut upstairs dropped Gonzalez face first, prompting an immediately stoppage to the fight at 1 minute and 47 seconds. In boxing news this week, Iron Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield look to be at a standstill as Holyfield's camp says Tyson is refusing the $25 million guaranteed from Team Holyfield to participate in the Tyson-Holyfield 3 bout. It was said Tyson's demands became untenable and not what Tyson had originally agreed into the direct conversation with Holyfield earlier this year. So we shall see if a fight number 3 will take place. Deontay Wilder could receive up to $10 million to step aside for the mega 2-fight deal between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Wilder could have turned into a major roadblock for the fight as he wanted to exercise a clause from the previous contract to book a trilogy with Fury. But Fury's camp said his power to negotiate a trilogy fight was over back in October of 2020. ESPN's Max Keller reports Don't look too much into the contract because Wilder has to be getting paid to step aside. It's a $5 to $10 million deal, so Wilder is getting money just for waiting. Wish I can get that kind of cash. In more news, legend Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. has signed a contract to fight in an exhibition bout versus Hector Camacho Jr. This fight will take place Saturday, June 19th in Guadalajara, Mexico. Chavez Sr. will be fighting the son of his biggest rival, Hector Camacho Sr. Chavez said him and Camacho Sr. have become great friends before he passed in 2012. I love him to heaven, he says. He knows it, and now he must be angry about the beating I'm going to give his son. This fight will take place days before the anniversary of Camacho Sr.'s death, so it'll be an emotional fight for Camacho Jr. Lightweight division's Gervonta Davis has been indicted for a Baltimore hit-and-run accident. The Baltimore native has been indicted on 14 counts of a hit-and-run in downtown Baltimore back in November of 2020. Davis faces a potential of 7 years and 55 days in prison. Davis ran a red light, struck a Toyota vehicle before heading into a convenience store parking lot. A video captured by a convenience store shows a Lamborghini colliding with the store's fence, and the driver was witnessed and reported to be Davis. After the crash, a black Camaro pulled up and people began transferring items from the Lamborghini into the Camaro and then took off. The 4 occupants in the Toyota Solara that were injured were taken to a local hospital to evaluate it for their injuries. This isn't Davis's first run-in with the law, as in the past he had gotten in trouble assaulting his girlfriend in a fight between the two. So we'll see what happens with this situation and keep a close eye on it as time comes along. Oh, there's my time. It's time to get wrapped up and send it back to the boys. You can reach me, Hijacker Mike, out on Twitter at Mr. Mac, MISTAMACC. You can also follow me here on YouTube at Hijacker Mike, which you at this current time will have to find because I need 100 followers to get my own URL. But hey, like I said last week, we got to start somewhere. So thank you for joining me on this week's edition of Nation Night Fights, and I will see you next week, y'all. Back to our Nation Sports Show with the boys. Peace.
And we are back. That was a great job, as always, by Hijacker
Wonderful.
Mike.
Wonderful.
Doing what he does great at.
Wonderful.
Up to speed. So they do like his one comment about getting paid. Believe me, Hijacker, I wish you were all getting paid.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
But before we went to commercial break there, our own Statman had something he wanted to share with us. So, Kevin, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Yes, I did. So I know we started the beginning of the show with a lot of sad news and downer notes, and kind of continued a little bit once we got to hockey, but I do have something that'll be really, really nice. This is from the Twitter account Warrior Hockey, at Warrior Hockey. Tomorrow night, the at Jax Iceman of the ECHL put the hockey world on notice with these Infinity Gauntlet themed gloves.
Wow.
So my nerd heart is incredibly happy seeing this. It is awesome. I love it.
Those are awesome.
Nice.
I need more of it. I love the gift right here. Power is in the glove, exactly.
Yep.
But yeah,
Power
guys.
is in the glove.
Ah!
And one of these days, I will have the money to go and buy the replica one that will go over my hand. And the next time that John goes and says anything against any of the Boston sports teams, I will just slip it on, and that didn't work, did it?
No, I'm still here.
Oh, shit.
Only one can hope.
Oh, good Lord Almighty! What have we
Wait.
done?
What if I do it again? John, check the Giants roster. Is Cam Newton there?
Yes.
I'm gonna behave.
Gonna no sell that one?
Wow.
Oh,
Hey, kayfabe it, brother.
because I'm going to be the good boy and refrain from what I was going to say and behave here. Because, guys, we're at the part of the show that I love. Because for the last 6 weeks, like I said in our opening, we have talked about all the divisions except for two. And this is arguably the two biggest divisions when it comes to the world of baseball. Because, guys, we're about to get into right now the National League East and the American League East. And I know, we have, our Met fans and Yankee fans and all that stuff, but I'm going to go a little different right now.
Before you do that, before you get into the NL East and the AL East, let's go over a little bit of news.
Okay.
So, pitcher Gio Gonzalez decides to retire after 13 seasons. He has played. He signed with a minor league contract with Miami. He was only 35 years old. Last Saturday he allowed 7 runs, 8 hits, while getting 1 out against Washington, his former team. So he pitched 12 games last season for Chicago White Sox with 4 starts, had an ERA of 4.83. His current record of 131-101 with a 3.70 ERA in 13 seasons with 4 teams. He was a 2-time All-Star with Oakland in 2011 and Washington in 2012. He also played for Milwaukee. Another big news coming out of Chicago. White Sox slugger Elroy Jimenez will miss 5 to 6 months with a ruptured pectoral tendon.
Oof.
Johnny, how's your titty? Wow.
Moving on.
Also, too, so it was also the Colorado Rockies. Kyle Freeland is out with a strain in the pitching shoulder. Now we're going to get into the American League and the National League. I'm going to start with the news from the National League.
Okay.
Coming out of the National League, Max Fried was named opening day starter for the Atlanta Braves.
Yes, he was. Good pitcher. Sometimes he's a little fried, though, but he's a good pitcher.
Correct. So now the other news I will save until we get to the American League. Let's go right into the National League.
Guys,
I
National
think we
League.
should start talking about the Atlanta Braves since
Yeah.
that's the news note that we just left off on.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
See,
where
I was thinking.
you were.
Listen here,
And he
Cam
was
Newton,
thinking
child.
a lot more than you.
I want to behave.
Oh,
Because
believe me, there will be no behaving later.
Uh-oh.
I'm
But-
going to say a lot of positive things about the Yankees. There's going to be a lot of self-flagellation after that.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So it's one of those. But
Yeah, what I meant to. I'm going to talk positively about the New York Yankees. Oh my God, that's just disgusting to go and say.
oh boy, yeah, he's gonna puke.
Where's my referee shirt?
But no, as far as Atlanta, though, yeah, we'll start off with Atlanta.
Yeah, if you can find it.
It's on my rack.
That's what she said.
Here now.
All right, guys.
Time to be like one of my favorite baseball players and move on to the Atlanta Braves.
No, but
Nice reference.
Atlanta is one of those teams. I mean, crap, I remember them so many years of pretty much dominating the National League East when it was the days of Maddox and Glavine and John
Jones.
Smoltz and Chipper Jones, Andrew Jones. They dominated
Mhm.
the National League East. Then they kind of fell off for a while. And I think right now they're starting to make that climb back up to being a dominant team again. Most importantly, look at Ronald Acuna Jr. I probably butchered his last name though. That guy has money written all over him. You were talking about, I mean, we mentioned before about the Braves for the 90s that had a lot of big names on there. Acuna right now is becoming that name to the franchise. He's still young. He has power, and to me, he's a threat. And I think right now, if I'm Atlanta, they're a team that I think is going to cause some interesting things to happen in the National League East this year. I mean, what do you guys think about Atlanta this upcoming season?
So I know when we covered the NL West, I went and said that the Dodgers have the highest chance of repeating as World Series champions and probably the highest chance of winning the World Series in general. Just looking at their roster, but how many times in all of sports have we seen all these dream team type teams, these massive, mega talented teams that have absolutely flopped and failed? You know, the first one that comes to mind is the 2011 Philadelphia Eagles. With all those signings to go along with Michael Vick at quarterback, and they just absolutely faltered, landed hard on their ass, as all Philly teams usually do. So,
did they hurt their hole?
Well, they hurt their hole, and the fans booed them and chucked batteries at them. So, I really think, I think my dark horse is the LA Angels this year. Like, baseball is a screwy sport. You can have a team that, like the Washington Nationals 2 years ago, they were 15 games below 500 at one point, and they won the World Series. So you could have a team just get hot at the right moment, or just all of a sudden very slowly creep up in the standings like the Nationals did. Mm-hmm. I think this year, I think the Atlanta Braves, they still have that stink of only having the one World Series championship in the 90s, so-called team of the 90s. I think
Evan,
they're gonna
Evan, just to backtrack you for 1 second. Carl, anything going on YouTube right now?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, somebody threw us Cam Newton going to the Giants.
You really are. Go ahead. Go ahead, Kevin.
Thanks, Sophie.
And composure. So, I really do think that the Atlanta Braves are going over the hump this year. I think they're going to beat the Dodgers in the NL CS, and I think they're going to go and beat the Yankees in the World Series. That's my pick. I mean, Acuna, his projected stats this year, he's projected, and this is just a projection. This is just based off of the last few years of what he's done. 31 home runs, 23 doubles, 130 hits, 77 RBIs. I mean, that's a damn good year. Batting average of 266, slugging percentage of 531, on base of 372. That's pretty good. And I mean, it's not like they don't have excellent pitching. Max Fried, Ian Anderson, Charlie Morton, Bryce Wilson. They got a great bullpen. Josh Tomlin, Tyler Matzik, AJ Minter, Travis Denard.
Yeah. He was the former catcher for the Mets.
Freddie Freeman, Ozzie Albies. I mean,
here's the thing. Hold on. You bring up Freddie Freeman. It's actually interesting you bring him up. Freddie Freeman, when it comes to playing the Mets, is becoming what Chipper Jones was years ago.
He was the Mets.
Chipper Jones could have bad weeks if they go to Colorado, Los Angeles, doesn't matter. As soon as he steps foot in Queens, all of a sudden he tears it up.
Yep.
It doesn't matter who's pitching for the Mets. You could have Noah Syndergaard, you could have any of them, and it seems like Freeman is becoming that. Not to put it in these terms, but he's becoming that kryptonite.
Yeah, he's the Mets killer.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yep. I mean, some of the other big names you've got, like I said, Ozzy Albies at second base. You got Marcelo Zuna out in left field to go along with Acuna and Christian Passion Ender in hang on, I'm trying to pronounce the name right. Inciarte.
Yeah.
I'm assuming is that. You know, this is a stacked team, and let's say at the trade deadline, they're like, all right, we need to go and get one more player to get over the hump. We need another pitcher, or we need another player to be able to go and get us over the hump. They can go and do that. Yes, John.
Quick score update. Islanders just cut the lead now. It's now 2-1. So,
Yeah, they're still losing.
moving on. Alex Morton on YouTube just makes a mention here that Freddie is this generation's Chipper for the Braves. And that's
Oh,
And
Chipper is the part-time hitting coach.
I was just about to bring that up.
yeah.
Yeah, Alex also brought that up. Thank you, Alex. I believe you are a Braves fan, aren't you?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's a diehard Braves fan.
He's from
Is
Georgia.
he in Discord?
Yes, he is. He's from
Yes,
Georgia.
he's been posting Braves gifts. In
Hold
the
on one
Discord.
second. Alex, if you can hear us, unmute yourself. Come on in, please, bud.
As we wait for Alex to hop on, I think overall, though, and obviously, we'll get more into the National League in a bit. This division is going to be a 14 race
Oh, yeah.
between the Braves, between the Phillies, the Mets, and the Nationals. The Marlins are so out there. They're gonna do shit. I think this division is gonna come down to those 4 teams. Because you look at any of those teams right now, they all bring something different.
And
As you mentioned out the Braves
as you guys were just saying too, I agree with everything you guys were just saying about Atlanta. Atlanta last year had a hell of a season.
Yeah,
and if you take a look at the projections already for this upcoming season, especially with the NL East, this is from Pacoda's bold NL East projections coming from NBCSports.com. They have the Mets projected at 95.5 wins with a 77.4% chance to win the division.
We'll get
with
to
the
the
Nationals right behind them at 85 wins, Phillies at 83, Braves at 82.4, and Marlins at 68.1.
Well, yeah, nobody gives a crap about the Marlins. But
did Alex come in yet?
No, not yet. But while
I just messaged him on YouTube to unmute himself.
Yeah.
No, Carl, he has to go on the Discord.
That's what I said. Unmute himself on Discord.
Yeah, I don't see him. I'm on Discord right now. I don't see him.
Alex, just to let you know how you get to the channel, go to the channels at the bottom, search for Our Nation Sports Show. Just click that. Once you see you in there,
go to the voice channel, unmute yourself, come on in, and give your takes on the Braves.
Yeah, but while we wait for that, let's go to the New York Mets now.
I go to the Mets.
They're in that division.
That would be the last team.
Because they'll be last place, right?
Exactly.
No, I think Miami's going to hold back.
Well, you're right there in Atlanta. Just go to Miami.
Yeah, Alex had bad connection. Internet's a little slow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, Alex, whenever you want, buddy, you definitely have an invite.
Yes. Of course. Especially next Thursday, we are live. Opening day on right here. We are live.
Yeah, so that's gonna be fun. But yeah, actually, if we want to talk Mets, we do have another Met fan. If he's listening right now, who we can get on.
Elder Mike.
Yeah.
But
it may take him a little bit of time. Monrovia is kind of far.
Yeah. So let's go to Miami.
Okay, yeah.
It's right there by Atlanta.
He's also got to get in his time machine and get out of 1775 and come back to 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, Miami. unfortunately, and it's not anything to them because I think Don Manley's done a great job, and obviously Jeter being part owner has done a good job. The problem is they just suck.
There's no way around it.
They're just god awful. When any of the NL East teams play the Marlins, they're like, okay, we'll get 3 wins out of here.
You know what? I think they might be the sleeper this year in that division.
And if not the sleeper to go and make big noise and get to the playoffs, they'll definitely go and give the other 4 teams fits at times.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah,
The standings I'm looking at as of last Thursday, of all the 5th place teams, they have the highest simulated win total of 70.2 versus 66.5, 65.5, 66.5, 62, 61.6. So, I mean, Miami could do well.
They're
or
not.
At least play spoiler down the stretch.
Unfortunately, the problem is when you're in the same division as you get, like I mentioned, where you get the 4 teams that are hungry, who I think are going to make this division tight. They always say, in order to win the division, you got to beat the teams within your division. Let's be honest. You look at Miami's lineup. Does anybody in that lineup scare you?
No.
Pitching rotation. Does anybody scare you?
No.
As much as we could sit here and say that they're going to be that possible team to play spoil it like the Mets or to the Phillies, I highly doubt it. I mean, this is a team that I'm surprised they're bringing up they're bringing back on Mattingly the way they are. I mean, I understand, the expectations in Miami is not that high, but I mean, still, you're talking about a Miami team that's basically done nothing since they've been in Miami. Since, they rebranded themselves as Miami Marlins, they've done nothing. They've pretty much have kept the bottom of the NL East nice and cozy.
Yeah, but if you think about it, John, though, they can do one thing. If they don't make, odds are they're not going to win the division and move forward, but they can play spoiler if they can, because you remember, all it takes is one loss on a top team to make a drastic shift in the division.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely.
If the Mets lose one big critical game, they could lose the division. If the Braves, it's a very similar slope in that retrospect.
That was what, 2015, I think it was, John?
Well,
as a Mets fan, you can remember.
Yeah, they had that run.
They needed to win. And what did they do? They dropped the last 12 games to win the division. They dropped the ball right there. It's a proven fact.
By the way, side note,
21 Red Sox, 2011 Red Sox also fit that bill of needing to basically just win a few games, and instead, a lot of the pitchers and players wanted chicken and beer from Popeyes more.
Yep. Just one quick thing. I just came across my Twitter feed quickly since we're talking baseball, and I know it's at the NL West because we talked about them a couple weeks ago. But how about this though? Dodgers Chris Taylor is hosting a concert with an all-star lineup for a great cause: pediatric cancer. The headlining act, Brad Paisley.
Yeah.
John Hammond just tweeted that out. So, but no, as far as Miami, I think they're setting themselves up more. I mean, you look at the other teams. Look at Atlanta, the Mets, Philly, and Washington. They're more of in the now. Miami, I think, is setting themselves up more for the future. Where all of a sudden, if we're sitting here 5-10 years from now, then that's where I can see Miami possibly making that run. Because they're trying to build the team up. Because what happened was when Jeter took over the team, he dismantled the entire team. And they're trying to build it up. So, unfortunately, I'm going to say this right now. I think Miami is going to be that team that's going to be the bottom of the barrel in the National League East. I really do. To me, there's no other team that...
There's no disagreement from me.
Yeah, I really think there's no team in that division. I think the way that division's set up, like I've said before, you have the 4 teams who are going to make this division tight, and then you're going to have that one team that's going to be like on the side, like, don't forget about us. We're still in this division.
Yep.
But honestly, does anybody else have anything?
They're going to be the black sheep of that division.
Yeah, Miami. Miami's not going to do great, but they are going to do good. Good at
Well, the only thing they are going to do
spoiling
good
the
at,
party.
the only thing they are going to do good at, by the way, is their crowds, because most of their crowds are people from New York.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a joke they came out with. I think Miami at 100% as far as
Yeah. Miami's fully open.
okay, because they made a comment of everybody.
That was one of the other things that when we had our discussions about it, hearing that, that was the other thing we wanted to bring up with UFC.
Yeah, which we'll get to that before we wrap up the show tonight.
Yeah.
But I remember somebody made the joke of, if it's going to be 25%, it's not going to be full capacity for Miami.
Right.
But yeah, guys, if nobody else has anything to talk about Miami, let's head back up north.
Miami sucks.
Yep.
Exactly.
Let's go.
Let's head back up north, make a pit stop.
Pit stop at Washington.
Yep.
Yeah, let's go to Washington.
All right.
Take it away, Stat Man.
All right. So, Washington Nationals 2 years ago won the World Series, obviously. They've still got one of the best pitchers in the game in Max Scherzer. Steven Strasburg is another one of the good pitchers. Patrick Corbin is a great pitcher. They past offseason signed John Lester of Red Sox and Cubs fame.
Yep.
I remember him very, very fondly, especially there were definitely some onions being cut near me when he had his no-hitter after coming back from his non-Hodgkin's lymphoma diagnosis.
Exactly. I remember that one.
That was very momentous. God damn those onions being cut near me. Oh.
It made you proud to be a sports fan. It didn't matter if you were a Red Sox fan or not. That's a sports moment.
Yep. And there's a lot, like, even the pinstripe stepchild of the AL East, even if they have a moment like that, a guy comes back from cancer, has a no-hitter, that's a huge moment in sports, regardless of whether you hate the team with a burning passion or you're a skell who loves the team.
Yep.
Well, moving on. I look at the team. They've got Josh Bell and Ryan Zimmerman at first, Alex Avila and Jan Gomez at catcher.
Gomez is good.
He is good. They do have some good players. They've also signed Kyle Schwarber from the Cubs.
Yeah.
And of course, they have the absolute one of the other young phenoms in this game. We cover Fernando Tatis Jr.
Michael Taylor.
Talk
about Michael Taylor.
What about Michael Taylor?
Is that who you were talking about?
No, I'm not talking about Michael Taylor. So, Juan Soto, another one of those like once in a generation type talents. Not to the level of like an Acuna Jr. or a Fernando Tatis Jr.
Right.
But he's a phenomenal player. Watching him go and play, watching him at bat is just a thing of beauty. Really do think they can make some noise again. I think the NL East, like John said, it's going to be a 4-team race, and I think Atlanta wins out.
Great.
But it's going to have a lot of close games. Like, this is going to remind me of the AL East when the Tampa Bay Rays finally started getting good, and then Toronto got good, and all of a sudden you have Toronto, New York, Tampa, and Boston, and then every so often in the 2010s you had Baltimore show up.
Yeah.
Like
they're still a team?
Yes, they're still a team.
Remember that series, Kevin, talking about the Orioles when they beat the Nationals team that had all of that star power in 2012 in 6 games? Like, holy crap!
Yeah, that was a Jim.
Strasburg was, they were sitting him, and I'm like, guys, what are you doing? This guy is pitching one hell of a game.
Yeah, that was the Jim Tomei Oriole days.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But no, as far as the Nationals, I mean, it's funny. You look at the Nationals, they have the pitching. You look at Atlanta, they have the pitching. Philly has good pitching. The Mets have good pitching. I mean, if you're a fan of baseball and you love pitching, this is your division right here.
Mhm.
With how many guys I mean, you got Max Fried in Atlanta, like we mentioned before. Nobody gives a crap about Miami, so we don't have to mention anybody from them. We just mentioned Max Scherzer with the Nationals. Obviously, the Phillies have Zach Wheeler. The Mets have Noah Syndergaard. But this is my thing, though. This division is loaded in pitching. There's a reason why the last two NL Cy Young Award winner has been Jacob deGrom of the Mets. But as far as the Nationals, they're going to be at that same level. I think with the Nationals, though, I think it's going to all depend on injuries, though, because they don't really have the depth. And as we've seen, you have to have that next man mentality.
I'll say this too. Washington, if it doesn't, as long as they have the players that they have and they're all healthy, if they have everybody sticking together, working together, they can make possibly another run like they did in 2019, winning the World Series against the cheating Astros.
Steven, I could see that. My only thing is, though, they won't be able to get there so easily, especially with that NL East.
But John, we're fixing to get to the team that you've been wanting to talk about.
Oh, I know.
Because you talk about a team that's
We have
been
one more thing to talk about, though, before we get to them.
Washington, if they play their cards right and they play well, like I said, they can be a sleeper team that can make some noise. It all depends on how their pitching is, how their defense is, and all that stuff.
Yeah, but I think that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to, with all these four teams, it's going to come down to them playing each other, because it's going to be one of those things of it's almost going to be the best way. I'm going to put this in wrestling terms. It's going to be, you take the Mets, put them in one corner, the Braves, put them in one corner, Philly and the Nationals, and just let them knock each other out. Whoever comes out on top wins the division. That's basically what it's going to come down to.
Yep.
But anybody else have anything you want to add to with the Washington Nationals before we head over to that team in Philly?
Nope.
Ezra?
As far as the Nationals go, you are right. Their pitching is extremely loaded. You got one of the best pitchers in the game over the past 5 to years is Steven Strasburg. That dude is an absolute beast on the mound. The Nationals, to me, when it comes to the top two teams in that division, I mean, you're looking at the Braves, you're looking at the Mets, and you're looking at the Braves, in my opinion. I think those are going to be the top two teams that are going to lead this division. But don't get me wrong, the Nationals are not going to be too far behind. They're going to be nipping at their heels. I have a feeling that it's going to be a strong year for the Nationals, as long as, like you said, they're able to keep everybody healthy and they're able to keep that cohesiveness on all sides of the plate.
And we're also forgetting, though, I mean, if you're any of these four teams that we're talking about, you don't want to go on a long losing streak.
No.
Because but here's the thing, though. You don't want to also come out of the gate in April and May so strong, because come July or August, when you really need to pick it up, you could be burnt out.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So you blow out your gas tank before you even get to the finish line. And then next thing you know, injuries start piling up. Yeah. And if you're lacking a team with depth, like you said, that the Nationals have a lack of depth in their core strengths, it's going to be an issue later on in the season. That's why they got to start off at a steady pace, keep that pace going, and pick it up right after All-Star break. And then they got to really just hammer it home.
Washington is one of those teams. They have to stay afloat, because if they don't, Atlanta can really make some noise. And if they really do good this year, the Mets could do something like that, or the Phillies, out of all teams, could make some racket in the NL.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And let's actually head over now to that team from Philly. And they're a team, I mean, it's funny. You want to talk about pitching. They're 1-2 punches. Aaron Nolan, Aaron Nola. Had a brain fart there for a second. And Zach Wheeler, formerly of the Mets. You got, I'm just trying to see here. Bullpen wise, okay, they don't have a lot of big names, but like I look at catcher, J.T. Realmuto, who they signed for a 4-year, $115 million deal in the offseason. You got,
They got Zach Wheeler.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got the pieces there. I mean, shortstop is Didi, and Yankee fans remember him when he was with the Yankees.
Yep.
He was supposed to be the next Eric Jeter. I mean, he did well there, but it didn't work out.
And don't forget, they traded for Seattle's Gene Segura last year. So they've got a 1-2 at shortstop that really are both 1-1.
And we're also forgetting the right fielder, Bryce Harper.
Oh, yeah, Bryce Harper. You know, the guy.
You also don't forget your center fielder, Andrew McCutchen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
like Kevin was
Phillies
saying,
depth
Bryce
chart
Harper-
hasn't put it left, not center, but he could play both.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead,
Bryce
Steven.
Harper, I was watching a video of his 18-month-old kid just
Oh, yeah.
absolutely murdering
Wow.
a baseball. I'm like, oh God.
Yep.
Like 18 years, he's going to be in the Major League Baseball. Oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
Steven, what are you going to say?
You know, Bryce Harper, I mean, this guy goes to Philadelphia, gets all this money. Guys, is this the year where he has to make some noise? Because
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Without a doubt.
when you sign a major contract with again, it's like with Philadelphia Eagles. The city of Philadelphia is a city that has fans that if you are trash, you are trash. If the 76ers are doing great, the city is rocking. If the 76ers are doing trash like they had with AI in 2002 as their MVP previously in the NBA, went to the finals, if they suck, they're going to call you out. Philadelphia Eagles, if they suck, they suck. The same thing goes here with the Phillies and the Flyers in the NHL. So Bryce Harper has a lot of pressure to me on this season because this is his third year with Philadelphia, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also tier 2. Okay, real quick. Their shortstop is not a person you want to mess with either.
No. But you also
It's Didi.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
But we also have to remember though, you can't. One thing with a lot of these teams, you can't base it off last season.
No.
Last season was a shortened season. We had only 60 games. I mean, for crap's sake, everybody thinks Trevor Bauer is the next coming of, since Babe Ruth. And
Don't get me going on that.
yeah,
Don't get me started with him.
yeah. But to me, a lot of these you have to go past last season. You have to go to the year before
Yes.
and kind of how they did then. But no, as far as Philly though, I mean, a lot of these teams, like I said, like we said with Atlanta, we said with Atlanta, we said with Washington, we're going to say with Philly, and we're going to say with the Mets, the injury bug was going to be key. Because if they get hit with an injury bug, they're going to be screwed. But like I said before, though, you go on like a 1 or 2 game losing streak, okay, fine. 3, not a problem. But once you start getting to 4, 5, and 6 in this division, you don't want to have to all of a sudden get to the All-Star break and then also coming out of the All-Star break have to come out guns a-blazing because, you're 10 games behind first place because, you lost 3 guys in the month of June.
Yep.
That's what I've been saying. That's what I've been saying is that you got to keep a steady pace throughout the season and try not to tire your guys out. That leads to injuries. That leads to losses.
Yep.
That's something that every team, not just in the NL East, but in every division, in every clubhouse has got to know. They can't just come out, swing the bats as hard as they can, pitch 100, 300, 4 miles an hour if they can.
Yep.
They gotta really gradually get themselves into the rotation and really build a chemistry that's gonna lead them forward to the right path. And that's what Philly needs. I know Philly's rotation over the past couple of years, especially on the bullpen, has been a little suspect. But I think this year they've added some new people, kind of really smoothed some things out. I think Philly, they have a pretty good chance of making some noise. I just don't see them anywhere close to the top of the division at all.
No. But guys, time to get to that other New York team. The team that a first guest we had on, who actually, by the way, quick programming note, next Wednesday, 8 p.m., the eve of opening day, we will have WFAN's own Danielle McCartan on with us to talk about more with the Mets and the Yankees. But let's get to those New York Metropolitans right now. Pitching wise, I mean, we you know this team. I mean, you know who the ace of this team is going to be. It's not even up for debate. It's Jacob DeGrom. I mean, this is a guy who's won, except for last year, because Bauer won. He had won the last 2 Cy Young Awards. You got Marcus Stroman. You got Carlos Carrasco. They had the pitching, and also forget you got Noah Syndergaard coming back probably in June. So the only thing I'm concerned about with the Mets, I've been concerned with a lot of Mets fans, is the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
Because guys like Seth Lugo, Familia, Betances, Gesellman,
Fox.
They're kind of 50-50.
You're forgetting a name.
Oh,
Edwin Diaz.
I was going to get to him there. This team, there were so many times I remember watching last year and the year before, and also you had DeGrom pitching 7 strong innings, and also it was 1-0, then all of a sudden it come the 8th inning, 9th inning, all of a sudden, oh yeah, Mets are down 3-1. Well, why? Oh, well, Seth Lugo gave up 2 runs, and this guy gave up a run. It's like, if the Mets want to eventually get back to that 2015 run that they had, where they made it to the World Series, the bullpen cannot screw this up.
No.
And, I mean, catching, for example, they picked up James McCann this year. He was formerly of the White Sox. Not the biggest name I thought they were going to go for, because I really thought they were going to go for JT Realmuto, but he's not a bad option. I'm just going through their depth chart here quickly. I mean, like shortstop, they got Lindor. So they have the pieces. I'm just curious to see if this team is ready to take that next step. Because now you have a new owner in town, Steve Cohen.
Who has a shit ton of money.
No, really?
Really,
The
John?
dude's got what, like an aquarium in his mansion that has a shark in it or something?
He was
or like
one
a
of the
shark
first
statue?
one of the first interviews he had done with SNY. They asked him if he had any baseball memorabilia, and he's like, "Yeah, hold on, I'm gonna go get it." It's just throwing around the ball that was the ball hit by Mookie Wilson that went in between Buckner's legs.
Wow.
Signed by Mookie Wilson, and he's just throwing it around like I'm like. I mean, obviously, you guys can see behind me. I have a lot of interesting sports memorabilia stuff behind me, and in the room I'm in, I have a lot of it. But
that's for another day with that one, John. With the memorabilia stuff you got from your father.
Oh yeah, but you wouldn't see me sitting here taking a signed ball from Ted Williams and going, "Oh, let's throw the ball up in the air."
I'm gonna juggle with the ball from Ted Williams, the ball from Mookie Wilson, and the ball from Hank Aaron. And they're just going to go and juggle. No, you're going to go and look at those. You're going to go and dust them off every day and just never touch these ever, or I will chop off your fingers. That's what you're going to do with those.
Yeah, exactly. I think with the Mets, I think also now you have a general manager now in Sandy Alderson, because from what I remember, obviously we know what happened with the last guy who they hired. We don't have to relive that one again.
You got to give him his props. He did go and get your Francisco Lindor and Carlos Carrasco on the very, very cheap.
Oh yeah, and a lot of people thought when that happened, it was also because of the fact of the team president for the Indians is the son of the radio programming guy from WFAN. They thought that had some connection, but they're like, no, has no connection. But, I mean, this Mets team, I mean, you could. I'll tell you this much: Queens is going to be rocking. I'm August. I'm just going to say this right now. But quickly before we get to the American League East, I'm going to go around the room quickly. Who do we think will win this division? Carl, start with you.
I'm gonna go with Atlanta.
Okay, Steven?
Before I get to my prediction, start spreading the news. The season's over today. I don't want to be a part of New York, New York, New York.
Steven?
Team's gonna lose.
Steven.
The Mets are gonna
Stick to rock music.
John. Cam Newton is going to the Giants by the end of this podcast. I pick Atlanta.
God almighty. Ezra, what about you?
How dare you step on my parody of the Mets, you goof. This is why Cam Newton's going to the Giants.
Cammy and the Giants.
Ezra, what about you?
I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna buck the trend. I'm gonna go with Atlanta.
Kevin?
Atlanta. I mean, I'm picking them to win the World Series this year.
Okay.
He's gonna go with the Mets because he's a Mets fan.
No, smartass.
He's going to go with Miami because, he needs to have a new form of misery as a Mets fan.
No.
Well, he's got Cam Newton come to the Giants, so he's good.
He's gonna go
Fair
for
point.
the. He's gonna go for the Montreal Expos.
No. He's gonna go for the Vancouver Grizzlies.
John, who do you pick?
No, John Stacy, who do you pick, bro? New York Mets?
No. I'm actually going to the Atlanta Braves also.
Really?
Because, let me finish.
That's really.
Because,
Fishing.
shut up, Carl. You don't want to know what my prediction is for the Red Sox? Has the team ever gone 0-162?
No, you're never going to see that.
No, I think it's going to be Atlanta, realistically. As much as I want it to be the Mets, knowing how the Mets operate, they're going to screw something up.
Yeah, and you got a new owner. Congratulations, you're still the Mets.
Hey. Shut up, Windy.
It's up to you, New York, New York. Get your shit together. I don't want to wake up in the city that never sleeps. They cannot win a championship series.
The best part of waking up is the Mets when they fuck up.
Yes! Flawless next division.
Yep. AL East, baby. Let's do it.
Red Sox are going to be in last place.
No, they're not.
There they are. All right.
There's another B team in the AL East. They're the ones that are going to be down.
Yeah, we all know Baltimore. Which actually, you know what? Let's start with them, though. Because they made some news today.
Oh,
Okay, go ahead, Carl.
now that we're getting into the American League, now I will bring up the rest of the news that I had.
Well, the last piece, though, let's use that as kind of a lead-in. If it's what I think you're going to go with.
Will you shut up,
Okay.
you Cam Newton fan, you?
At least I didn't have to deflate balls.
Well, Carl, before you go, I want to see if this goes over the airwaves properly.
Floor's all yours, my buddy.
Opening day, and here's the first pitch.
Yeah. Who was that team that you guys lost to in '86?
You were lucky.
Yeah, I mean, it was the New York Mets, but if the manager hadn't like taking Bill Buckner out, might have had a chance.
Mhm.
Okay, but go
Buckner
on.
was hurt.
This debate has gone. This debate has gone longer than any Pink Floyd song I've ever heard.
Or a Grateful Dead jam session.
Oh, good lord.
Or Tool's latest album that took 13 years.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses 15, or Guns N' Roses album that took 15 years.
Yeah, which that one
So-
sucked, by the way.
I'm
Yeah.
actually going to report some bad news about the other New York team. Okay. Unfortunately, at the age of 96, Dr. Bobby Brown passed away. He was the last living oldest member of the team. He also was a doctor in his hometown.
Cardiologist.
What's that?
He was a cardiologist.
Yes, cardiologist. And unfortunately, he in 1947, on the final day of the 1947, he watched his very first Old Timers Day. That's how far back he goes with the team. So he was the last remaining person to play for the team in the 1940s. He played from 1947 to 1954 with Yogi Berra as his roommate. He was third baseman, batted .279 with 22 home runs, 237 RBIs. Known as a terrific contact hitter, Brown struck out just 88 times in 1,863 plate appearances. In the World Series, Brown became a Bronx Bruiser. So that is it for that.
By the way, you brought up oldest Yankee. You know who was the oldest Yankee?
Who?
I want to make sure. Okay. The oldest Yankee, he's still alive, actually.
Who?
Anybody want to take a guess? Eddie
Your sister's ass.
Eddie Robinson.
Really? How old is
Wow,
he?
he's still
Yeah.
alive.
100 years old.
God bless him.
Mm.
Absolutely, God bless
He
you.
made his debut on September 9th, 1942. Last played on September 15th, 1957.
God bless him.
Absolutely.
So now I'm going to go down to the last one that I'm going to report, and then we'll go right into that team. Baltimore Orioles added pitcher Matt Harvey to Major League rotation.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this before we get more into the Baltimore Orioles. Do any of you guys recognize any of the Orioles pitching staff other than Matt Harvey?
No. And I'll say this real quick too, John. Baltimore, I think, out of all these teams, is going to finish dead last in the AL.
It's funny that you say that, Stephen. Before we start going into each team individually, I told you guys about the PECOTA stats, or the not stats, but the PECOTA projections for the NL East. I have the ones for the AL East right here. The Yankees right now are being projected to go 97-65 with the 81% chance of winning the division.
Mm-hmm.
Rays at 88-76 with 11%. Blue Jays 85-77 with 7%. Red Sox 80-82 with 1%. And Orioles 69-96 with 0%.
Ironically, 69.
Nice.
Order 69.
No brainer. They have one great player on that team.
Before we get into the Baltimore team, I have to say one thing. Our good friend Neil just put on there, Go Yankees, on the Discord server. Neil, when we get to the Yankees, I will tell you how exactly I feel about them.
Is it included F word that has 4?
Now let's move on. So not only do you have Matt Harvey, you also have Bruce Zimmerman on your pitching staff.
Yeah, I know. But let's be honest.
None of the other names stick out to me.
But okay, look at their lineup though. Does anybody stick out to you in their lineup?
Trey Mancini.
Who?
Trey Mancini. He sticks out to me because he's the one that had the cancer issue. Was it the cancer issue a year ago?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the fact that he is back playing, that's again, like we talked about with John Lester earlier.
Yep.
That's one of those moments when he steps up to the plate for the first time. It's like you're going to have a tear in your eye.
Yes.
You know, you're all of a sudden going to have dust in your eyes.
Yep.
Yeah. But as far as Baltimore, I mean, we talked about it before with Miami, and it's the same thing we did with Baltimore.
Wait a second. You know who I don't see here, and I'm probably overlooking it? Machado.
He's with San Diego.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Hate that son of a bitch.
He went to LA in a trade in 2018, and then he signed with San Diego in the offseason after that.
Hate that son of a bitch.
He was the last out when the Red Sox won the World Series, and when he went down on that strikeout, he actually formed a K.
Mm-hmm.
Carl, would you like to explain this why you don't like Manny Machado?
Because he took out Dustin Pedroia, who actually had to retire because of that knee injury.
Yeah. He's Machado, when he slid into second base, he stuck his cleats up in the air and it hit Dustin Pedroia.
Instead of doing a clean slide, he slid foot up right into the knee.
Machado's always been a dirty player. So the fact that,
they allowed him to continue playing in the league says a lot for the league.
They're not going to go and shit can him from the league.
I mean, to be fair, Carl, there's been players in NBA, NFL, NHL history that have a track record of being a dirty player, and they don't cut them.
Hell, in the NFL, if you're going through your girlfriend on a bet of guns, you get a big fat contract. So, I mean, case in point there.
Yeah. But yeah, no, as far as Baltimore, they're one of those teams that's like, remember we said before with Miami, they're on the rise, so to speak. And I think Baltimore is still one of those teams that they're really far away from potentially making a run.
Yeah.
Especially when you got teams with what Toronto just did this offseason, with Tampa Bay, who's like, with what the Yankees did, that team up in Boston did. It's going to be tough for Baltimore. I'm going to say this right now. I think between them and Miami, they're going to have a competition to see who can get the worst record on base. But
and the competition to play spoiler.
Yeah. But does anybody else have anything they want to add on to the Baltimore Orioles?
Outside of this, I know we're going to pick our picks later, but Neil, of course, our buddy Neil Benedict from, of course, Plus Open Nation, he asked us all who is our pick to win the AL East.
Neil, we'll answer that later. Question. We'll answer that question
absolutely
momentarily, but
we'll tease that one a little bit.
I can tell you who I'm not going to pick, but I move on.
All right, let's move on.
So now we head deep south.
Okay.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay is deep south now?
Well, in the AL East, it is.
All right. Okay. As soon as you said deep south, I'm like, we don't have any teams playing in Alabama or Mississippi.
But yeah, Tampa Bay. Honestly, thoughts on this team?
Well, I do have one note that just came across about an hour ago. Tampa Bay Rays relief ace Nick Anderson has suffered a partially torn elbow ligament and is expected to be out until after the All-Star break. Fortunately, it will not require surgery to fix the issue. He'll rest for the next 8 weeks. He did struggle with a 7.36 ERA and a 1.91 WHIP. WHIP is walks and hits per innings pitched. This is over 4 Grapefruit League outings. That sucks for Tampa.
Yes, it does.
He really is their ace. I mean, later on in the article, he was a very key weapon for them in the playoffs in the regular season. He had a .55 ERA, not saying that stat, that's an analytical, nope. 0.49 WHIP with 26 strikeouts, 6 saves, and just 3 walks over the 19 outings that he had during the season. Unfortunately, he did not play all that well in the playoffs. Conveniently forgot about that. Not a Tampa Bay fan, but I do like watching great pitchers pitch. That's why I'm really excited to watch as many Mets, Braves, Phillies, and Nationals games as possible this year. That sucks for him, but hopefully after the All-Star break, he's able to come back and get full go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Quick breaking NFL news. Just came across the old Twitter machine. Carlos Dunlap is re-signing with the Seahawks.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
2-year deal, worth $16.6 million, including 8.5 of it is guaranteed.
Okay.
Carlos Dunlap is heading back to Seattle. But as far as Tampa Bay, they're one of those teams. They're also, they're in a very big rebuild mode right now. Nobody on the team scares me.
No.
Once they lost Blake Snell in the offseason, I was like, okay, who's going to be that face of the team? And realistically, there's nobody on that team.
Yeah.
I was just looking at their pitching, and I'm like, who are these people?
Yeah. Well, again, also, we could be sitting here in June and saying, holy crap.
Who are these people? There's no pitcher that scares you. What the fuck are you guys on? Acid or something? Are you serious? Tyler Glasnow, yes, I get it. In the World Series, didn't play all that well, but Tyler Glasnow, like the sexiest pitcher in MLB right now. He's also lights out. Ryan Yarbrough, Chris Archer, Rich Hill, Michael Waka. I mean, come on.
Waka Waka.
Yes, Waka Waka.
Hot take, John?
Like, oh, the hot take. John's the one with the hot take.
I get it.
It's Blake Snell, but like,
never mind.
I'm flabbergasted that the two of you are saying that they don't have a pitching rotation.
John.
And like,
John.
who scares
John.
you?
John.
Hold on. Give me a second. I'm going to the depth chart right now.
Give me a second. They made the World Series.
No.
Okay, hold on. Kevin. Rich Hill. Rich Hill.
John, they made the World Series.
Okay, but that was last year.
So freaking what? It was last year.
And also,
They still made the World Series, and they had a chance to win the series.
Why, man?
Dumb. They had a chance to win the series.
Okay, but that was
God knows we can't trust LA to get the job done. That takes them to the wire to win a series.
Said I wasn't going to go.
Have no pictures, my ass. Tampa Bay went to the World Series for a reason.
Hold on.
Just was talking about Nick Anderson. They've also got Diego Castillo.
Hold on.
Colin McHugh is good.
Haha, by the way, Islanders tied the game up, so there's that. But
the reason why you're saying they don't scare you is because you're a New York fan. That's why. You can't face reality that even though
I can face reality. But I'm sorry, Rich Hill, Michael Waka.
They made the World Series for a freaking reason.
Michael Waka did shit last year.
Michael Waka didn't do shit. Give me a freaking break, Johnny boy.
Hold on. Steven.
This debate is like Daredevil versus the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man wins.
Steven, Chris Archer. He doesn't really do that for me. He doesn't move the needle for me.
Okay.
Whatever.
Lord, I said I wasn't going to get into an argument.
He made the World Series for a reason.
That was last fucking season.
That was last season. Cam Newton's going to the Giants.
Hey, you guys gotta calm
He
down.
threw it.
You guys gotta calm down. Kevin Dare's gonna get kicked out of the TD Garden.
There's nobody around me. We're all spaced out. It's great.
He just threw a bottle. Woohoo!
Steven. Steven.
Thank you, Steven.
Look. I'll give you guys a breather from your rant or your battle, and then I'll give back to it. I'll just say this much: they have potential star power.
Tampa Bay is the Lulu of the American League East.
Oh, Lulu of the American.
No, I give that one to the Orioles. I'd say
The Orioles are the Lulu to the American League East. What are you smoking, Johnny Blayne?
Tampa Bay Rays, I'll give them load and reload. But
The Mets are St. Anger.
Damn. But anyways, I was trying to say is
I love how you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna be quiet.
they have the star power on all fronts, especially
I've already got a rent set in stone.
especially in
John's
the
already got me
outfield. The
going
outfield,
already.
they have potential star power, and of course, like you said, when they made that big free agency move, they lost one of their best guys. Yeah, it hurt them, but they still have a chance to make some noise. They are a former World Series team. Yes, I understand the season was shortened and things really don't matter as much because of the pandemic and the way things are. I get that, but you still got to look at it that way. That yes, they were a World Series team. They did make it to the big game. The question is, with everybody making moves on the free agency market, how are they going to compare to everybody else? Not only in their division, in this division, but the league in general when it gets to the playoffs.
Right.
And by the way, hold on, Carl, anything going on YouTube as I try to get my composure here?
Well, Alex just chimed in. He goes, I'll try to call in at the beginning of next week's show to give my thoughts on the Braves since it'll be opening day. And he said, great show tonight, guys. So
Thank you.
Yeah. But
Thank
hold
you.
on.
Alex.
Thank you, buddy. We appreciate it.
By
Yeah,
the
we
way,
got time.
by the way, how's that bottle there, Johnny boy?
Well, I hold on.
I'm
Steven,
about to cause bottle number 2 to be thrown. So
What?
there's
Hold
no
on.
other players there's no other players that scare you on the Tampa Bay Rays when they had Randy Arozarena, who pretty much put the Rays offense on his back last year in the World Series in the playoffs. Louis Adams, Yandy Diaz, Austin Meadows, Brandon Lowe.
Okay, hold on.
Your
Again,
thoughts?
hold on.
I'll hang up and listen.
Hold on. You're basing this off of last season. For the last 6 weeks, haven't I said on this show I don't base anything off of last season because there's only a 60-game schedule?
Oh, yeah, no, you're right.
So
It was a
basically, what
fake
you're
season.
saying, John, is you don't count the Los Angeles Dodgers, who haven't done nothing in basically 30-something years until they had a shortened season. That's why they won the championship last year.
No. What I don't.
Hey, he's
You
contradicting
can't
himself.
have it both
Hold on,
ways.
Steven.
Just because you sit there and say that Tampa Bay didn't do shit last year, you're sitting there going, oh, they didn't do nothing last year. And then Los Angeles, they won the World Series. You're like, oh, I'm not surprised. You can't have it both ways.
I'm gonna lose my voice by the time the show's done tonight. I can
And I'm
sense
going to
that
lose my
already.
voice because I have a rant going on after this horse shit.
Tampa Bay Rays last year. I know it was a 60-game season. 40-20. Number 1 seed in the American League.
Congratulations.
You're just mad.
He's
that the
just
New-
butthurt because
You're
he's a
just
Mets
mad
fan.
because the New York Yankees didn't do nothing in the playoffs.
He's a Mets fan. Steven, Mr. Johnny Blayne over here is a Mets fan.
I was trying to keep my composure.
Either way, he's a Mets fan, Yankee fan, Met fan, Yankee fan, Met fan. Who gives a shit? Both teams didn't do nothing last year.
But again, you're basing all this off of a 60-game schedule.
As much as it was a 60-game schedule, it was still a season.
Yes.
Let's move on to the next team before I have a heart attack.
Toronto Blue Jays.
All right, we can go to the Blue Jays.
Okay.
All right.
About time.
Oh God. Are we really going to be starting to talk about all this stuff?
Sorry.
I'm not your pal, buddy.
Oh God, where are we going? Yes, guys, you can listen to this on Discord. Thank you. If
Yeah.
you watch us on YouTube, thank you. But yeah, this is what we typically do.
We get on these
Scream at
little
each other
tangents.
because we make idiotic opinions, or at least we all think that
Yeah,
we
but
make
some,
idiotic opinions.
some of us also fans of the team that doesn't do anything. But I digress.
Doesn't do anything.
I digress.
Look, just because your team was able to go and get a couple of key players on the cheap doesn't mean it's going to come to success. If you want, I could go and play that clip again.
I think we can pass on that. We know the Mets aren't going to do
Again, who did you guys lose to in '86?
Yeah, you're going to bring up what are you going to
Is
be
that
like
your
the scales
fallback
of the
to?
Yankees fan? Yeah, the scales of Yankees fans. Oh, 27 rings. How many did you see? How many did you realistically see?
Yeah. How many did you win since 2010? 0.
0. How many did you win since 2004? 1. How many did the Red Sox win since 2004?
2.
4. Your move.
Okay, everybody, let's when it comes to the
I'm no
Blue
longer saying
Jays.
positive shit about the Yankees.
Oh,
And
Okay,
now
back to
the
all
Mets
right,
are going
to
to go, 162.
yeah, I'm not at the. By the way, guys, I loaded everything up so in case more rants come out, I have more.
ammunition to fire off blanks.
Anyway,
hold
getting
on,
to the
hold on,
Toronto.
We're moving on now.
Yeah, in the Toronto.
Hold on.
Toronto's got the
Toronto.
designated hitter of Vladimir Jr.
Yeah,
Yep.
and
Yeah,
Biggio's
definitely.
son too is on that team.
Who?
Just like Craig Biggio.
Of course.
Dude, don't forget about in the outfield. Dude, don't forget about in the outfield. You got to look at George Springer, who just signed a brand 6-year, $150 million deal,
Yep.
Jeez.
which is the biggest contract in franchise history.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yep.
you're looking at, and they've got Vladimir Guerrero Jr., like Carl said. They got Kevin Biggio, son of Craig Biggio. They've also got Bo Bichette, which
Was that guy from Star Wars?
no, that's no.
Shut up,
No.
John.
Jesus
like-
Christ.
I'll pay you money to never do that again.
Oh no, that's Boba Fett. Never mind.
Yeah, no, stop. Just stop.
Stop.
John, Cam Newton's going to the Giants. Just shut up.
I don't even want to go and make that type of joke. Just stop. Don't you disparage anything Star Wars related.
Do not make us tell a certain member of the nation that you are making fun of the Star Wars.
Okay, I'll shut up now.
Good boy.
Carl, you're going to have to go and tell me who this other member of the nation is.
After the show.
Gotcha. But Bo Bichette, his father is Dante Bichette, played for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. They were the California Angels at the time. He played for California, Milwaukee, and Colorado. Hit 274 home runs. Oh, wrong one. 1,141 RBIs. So they've got 3 second-gen players on the team. They've also what were some of the other names that popped? Lourdes Gurriel Jr., whose brother is his brother plays for the Houston Astros. George Springer, like was mentioned earlier. This is a team that, are they going to succeed out of the gate? Are they going to win the AL East? No, but they're going to compete for a wild card spot.
I mean, Springer's a hell of a hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
There's one guy that's actually on the pitching rotation that kind of scares me.
What's that?
Ryu.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Young Jim
5-2
Ryu.
last year. He was tied for 19th. Okay. He had an ERA of 2.69. He had 72 strikeouts and his whip was 1.15. But that's one guy that scares me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say this right now, and I won't make another stupid comment. Toronto, to me, is going to be my sleeper team.
Ooh. You know, that actually might not be bad, John.
That's actually a really good pick.
Not a bad pick. That's a good pick.
Yeah, that's
I
my.
think I think they can make noise in this division. Kevin said, I think they can have a great time competing for a wild card spot.
Yep.
Will they get it? That's up to that. Of course, that's up to interpretation. It's up to what happens later on in the season, and how they perform. But I can see Toronto possibly getting that wild card spot and moving on.
Yeah,
Who knows?
I think Toronto is going to be that team that, I mean, I think it's safe to say at this point that AL East is going to come down to, I know I joke about, with Boston, but I think it's going to come down to New York and Boston, realistically.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Toronto is going to be that team that if Boston falls a little bit or the Yankees fall a little bit, Toronto's going to be that team that's going to come in and take their position real quick.
I'm gonna wait until we finished up because we got 2 more teams left. They're heavy hitters, but I got
one of them is the bastard child that we're gonna get to.
Mm-hmm.
Do we really?
And
have
I'm not
to go
talking
with,
about. Most of us know which team I'm talking about when I say the bastard child.
Do we have to do them at all? Can we just skip them and just say that they're who they are and we just move on?
They are who they thought they were. They are
basically
who we
could do that.
Yes.
Because they're just a bunch of overpaid babies.
Hey, look, I have their depth chart up on my my internet on my Firefox browser, but I have it on a private browser so that way it doesn't actually end up in my history. No, I just refuse to go and search this team, put it in my search history, go and look at anything related to. Nope, I don't care. I don't want it.
I'm gonna refrain from anything I was about to say.
All right, let's move on to that other team.
Hey, that's the show tonight, guys.
That is tremendous. Yeah, well, now we go to the good team.
And would this be the final team in this division?
Correct.
Absolutely. Go ahead, take it away, Johnny boy.
Oh, we really aren't gonna talk about.
Oh,
the
hell
Yankees.
no.
Okay,
We're leaving that. We're leaving that.
That's known as F.U. New York.
Because
Whatever.
there
And
might
Joe,
be
if
some
you're listening,
people-
same to you.
all right,
Add Money
gonna
Mark
be
and
that
Neil.
middle of the road guy again. So yep, the Yankees are who they are. Garrett Cole, Corey Kluber.
Let's go up north.
Aroldis Chapman. I mean, yeah. Again, same
John,
thing.
mute his ass.
No, hang on.
Okay. I'll say this okay, I'll just say this, but okay, say
Who the hell
they got great pitchers, great hitters.
Was that you, Kev?
Yes,
Move forward.
Oh.
that was me. I just unmuted myself.
You got great pitchers. You got great catchers.
Also,
they're a
I'm
beast
seeing
of a
him
team.
laughing, and then it's like, wait, he's muted.
Yeah. They
Well,
got great
that was
pitchers. They got great
example.
catchers. Beast of a team. Looking at the top of division. All right, move forward.
I mean, look, I will go and say there is one player on the team that I would have absolutely have loved to go and have because I, for some reason, can't. I found him because he's a meathead. Luke Voigt. I'd love to go and have him. Just objectively,
He's
is
what you call
great.
a diamond in the rough.
Yeah, he
Absolutely.
really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know who else
And-
is like that though? You know who else like that? Just
Oh,
briefly in the Yankees. AJ LeMahieu.
Yes.
Same thing.
He's another one that's a diamond in the rough. They do have some good players on that team, but definitely some good players. There's a couple that they stayed healthy throughout the year. They probably would play a lot better. And would probably be more well known.
Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge,
Definitely Aaron Judge.
Giancarlo Stanton. But look, it's okay.
Yeah.
They can go and strike out 300 times. They hit 40 home runs. It's not going to matter.
Yeah, but guys, since you guys are like clamoring to do this, we're gonna leave the last team for last. And that's the end of the show today.
Like Carl's about to blow a gasket himself. John
So
waxed
yeah, you get a
poetic
shit
about the New
fire.
York Mets earlier. Doesn't give the two Red Sox fans their time to shine.
Okay, how about this?
Of course, because he's a typical New Yorker.
How about this? I'll make it easier for you guys. Ready?
Yeah.
Oh, he muted himself. Perfect. Let's go, Kev.
So
Now we get to the best team in the American League East, and that's the Boston Red Sox.
yep, with a pitcher rotation that should hopefully have Chris Sale back by what
That's
was
a
it? I
player that
believe
the
he-
White Sox miss dearly. It's Chris.
I mean, I would say, well, I mean, we gave you Yohan Moncada, but
Yeah.
I mean,
you
he's
know,
basically
I feel
on
it's
track
fair.
with his rehabilitation. He's on track to like the end of July, beginning of August, almost
Yeah.
by All-Star break.
If it's the end of July, it'll be well after the All-Star break.
Yeah. Well, they're saying the
So,
All-Star break, but
Yeah,
I'm
it's
saying
yeah.
you could always have a slight setback. We've seen it many times.
Mm-hmm. And especially where he's such a small pit, like looking at the depth chart now, he's listed as 6'6" and 183.
Yeah.
Like he's such a tiny, light, wiry.
And when
pitcher.
he pitches, his hand is literally almost on the ground.
Yeah. You know, but hopefully he comes back. Eduardo Rodriguez, who's going to be the opening day starter.
Yep.
Next week. So that's exciting to go and see him back, especially after last year with his COVID diagnosis and then Mike Cardo for the heart condition. Forgive me if I mispronounce that.
Yeah, it's
Nathan
associated with
Eovaldi,
the COVID.
Yeah. Nathan Eovaldi coming back is a good thing as well.
Correct.
Garrett Richards, I'm interested to see how that will work. Martin Perez coming back was great. I love to sign him. I love we got Matt Barnes is closer again. Brazier should be good. Getting Adam Ottavino is going to be a very interesting proposition.
Mm-hmm.
Hoping
and then the new guy that we just signed, Hizerko. Yeah.
Hirokazu Sawamura.
Yeah.
Is that who you're referring to?
Thank you. I mean, that he looks very, very. Instead of being a setup, he might actually could be a starter.
No, he could. I mean, obviously, we're going to see how things go with him.
Right.
You know, but they have, there's some questions on the bullpen. Is Ottavino going to be the same as he was in previous years? Is Darwinzon Hernandez going to have a little bit more control of his pitches?
Right. But then also, too, you got Austin Bryce as a setup.
Yep. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of bullpen guys to be able to go and play well.
Correct.
Definitely. You guys, I think that the Boston Red Sox have a pretty good depth in their pitching chart, and overall, I think that that's going to help them out throughout the season. They have great hitters, great outfielders, infielders. Overall, the team is pretty stacked, and like you said, it's a matter of certain key components staying healthy and making sure that the team is well balanced.
Right.
Because all it takes is one peg out of the board, and the whole building falls.
That's what killed us with Dustin Pedroia, who was the team leader per se. He never wore the C for saying he was the captain, but he was the locker room leader. With him being out with the injury as much as he was, and when he retired, he says he couldn't run anymore. So it stinks that he had to retire, but you know what? If he wants to, for his kids, I understand it's a lot easier because he would chase his young kids around and he can't run.
Yeah. Same reason why Brent Seabrook of the Chicago Blackhawks called it a career. Because he wants to be able to go skiing with his kids, but he can't right now because he's due for a hip replacement.
Yeah. Correct.
So, like I said, the Red Sox are going to be a tough team to beat. It's going to be New York and Boston that are going to be at the top of that division battling it out to see who's going to move forward.
Like always.
It's always been that way. It's that epic rivalry.
It's just that 1 year that, you know what, both teams, we didn't have our best. But then also, too, you got to look at our catchers. You got Christian Vasquez. He's back. If he can stay healthy, he's great.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Going over to the infielders. Okay.
Absolutely.
You got Bogarts.
Yep.
Biggest name right there. Then you also got Christian Arroyo. Another good name. Good player, third baseman.
Don't forget the two signees they had this year, Kiki Hernandez and Marwin Gonzalez.
Yep.
And then Bobby Dalbec, who came up from his who
Was in the minors
on the 40 man, but he was in the minors for years. So their infield seems to be pretty solid, especially with Rafael Devers maybe having a bounce back year, Xander Bogaerts being Xander Bogaerts, and we'll see how Kiki and don't forget the Ice Horse, Michael Chavis.
Yep.
Shout out Jared Carabas of Barstool Sports for the Ice Horse nickname.
And then our outfielders.
Yeah, I mean, you can go and they got Hunter Renfroe, who he's got an arm. It'll be like having Mookie.
Yep.
It's not Mookie Betts' arm, but it'll be like
It's
having
close
Mookie
enough.
again.
You got JD Martinez still here.
Yep, and hopefully he's one of the ones that will have a bounce back year as well.
Yep.
Franchi Cordero, we'll see how that goes. I know he's been having some COVID issues. But the one player from the Mookie Betts trade that I was very surprised at is Alex Verdugo. I was very surprised at how well he played and just how well he succeeded last season, that I'm excited and I have a ton of anticipation for a full season to go and see how he plays for Alex Verdugo, because he in the depth chart they have him as a center fielder, and I want to go and see how he does.
Yep.
He definitely had some great production last year.
I mean, he's only 24 years old. He's 6 foot. He's 192 pounds. I mean, that's a tiny guy.
Mm.
Yep.
I mean,
For an
last
outfielder.
year, what was it?
The only other one that's basically lower than him that's on the field is Hernandez. He's 190 pounds.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting, and especially the biggest news. One of the biggest news items of the Red Sox this past season, off season, was Alex Cora coming back.
Yes.
Is
That
it
was
going to
a
have the
great-
same magic as 18, or is it going to look a little bit more like 19 and like last season, where they're middle of the road at best?
Well, Alex, unfortunately, was caught up with the Houston scandal, and he turned around and says, you know what? I deserve my punishment, whatever it was. So they banned him for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
John Henry and the Red Sox organization did the best thing in the world. They made him wait 1 year. They brought him back. And he said he's back where he loves to be, and that's Boston.
Quick note. Boston Bruins 3-3 currently, with 2:02 to go in the third.
Wow.
Looks like we could be seeing an overtime game.
Yep.
All right, John, you want to pose the final question for all of us?
Who do we think could win the American League East? Let me
All
start
right.
off with Kevin for this one.
All right. So earlier, John, you went and said that it's going to be a two-team race between the Yankees and the Red Sox. I think the AL East is probably going to kind of mirror the NL East, where it's going to be a 4-team race, but it won't be nearly as close as the NL East. I do think there's going to be a little bit of separation when it comes to Toronto and Boston versus New York and Tampa. I think New York wins the division. I think Tampa is a wild card team, and I think Toronto has a chance to be a wild card team. And I think, I'm picking against the Red Sox as a fan. It's not because I don't have high hopes. I just think with the Yankees returning, the same team they've had for a few years, the Tampa Bay Rays being a World Series, shouldn't say World Series, sorry, having won the AL pennant last year, and Toronto seemingly getting a little bit better with George Springer. And Baltimore, as much as we know they're not going to be that big of a threat, they're not going to be a threat to win the AL East.
No.
They're still Baltimore, still your division opponent. They're going to be a thorn in your side all season. So I really think the Yankees and the Rays, it's a two-team race for first place. But I think the 4 teams I mentioned besides Baltimore are going to play each other tough.
All right, Steven, what about you?
I'm going to go with the Yankees as well.
Ezra?
I'm gonna go with the Yankees. I think just from overall, from all the different projections and everything I see, and also the additions, whether it be additions to the bullpen, returning players, I think that overall the Yankees, I think, have probably overall the strongest depth in the team in the division, and I feel like that could take them far. But Boston is gonna be right on their freaking heels, man. I'll tell you, it's gonna be a rat race to win that division.
Yes,
But
man.
I think New York is gonna squeak by on this one.
And Carl?
I'm going to blow all your minds. Yankees are going to be in third place. It's going to be between the Red Sox and Toronto, and I'm picking Toronto.
Whoa! Whoa!
Oh,
Oh my God! What a take!
Hot take.
Now that is
damn!
the hot take of the night.
You
And I'm a
know,
Red Sox fan,
you know what's funny?
and I'm going with Toronto.
Hey,
Oh,
look,
you may be onto
this is
something.
my self-flagellation. I picked the Yankees.
All right, John, what's your pick, bud?
This is a tough division.
It is.
It's
I
one of the
think
toughest divisions there is.
Straight, dude.
I think this team it's gonna be a 3-team race between New York, Boston, and Toronto. Just because of how much star power all 3 of those teams have, I think it's gonna be tough for Tampa Bay. Obviously, we know Baltimore's not gonna do shit.
Overtime.
You're talking about the game. You're talking about the show. I was gonna say, we've been overtime for the last 45 minutes.
Nope,
Oh, yeah.
it's overtime in hockey.
But,
Overtime in hockey, it's overtime for us.
Of course. But I think realistically, okay. I have Toronto also winning the division. But it's gonna come down to the last week of the season. They're gonna be neck and neck with New York going into the last week of the season.
So, John,
Not saying I
let me
don't think
ask
the
you.
Yankees.
No, finish what you were saying, and I'll ask you a question.
I'm not saying the Yankees won't make the playoffs because I think they'll make it. But I just think Toronto, because my only fear with the Yankees is 2 guys, Stanton and Judge.
Mhm.
We've never seen them play a full season yet.
No, 2
Notoriously,
years ago, dude.
Yeah.
2 years
Yeah, but
ago was
Oh,
a
yeah,
full season. They both played a full season 2 years ago.
but they haven't done that consistently though.
But you
Every
just
other-
said that they've never played a full season.
Yes, you just said that.
I'm gonna backtrack on what I said with that. Well, let's take that out the record. But
We're live.
thanks. But yeah, but Stanton being injury prone as he is, Judge being injury prone as he is, those 2 are the guys that scare me. If I'm the Yankees, those are the 2 guys that really would scare me, and that's why I think ultimately Toronto's going to be the ones to win this division. But again, I think it's only going to be about 1 game, and it's going to come down to the last week of the season.
John, a question, because you're saying it's going to come down to last week. Do you think Toronto and New York are going to have a game 163? Will it be that close?
No.
Okay.
No. Because you know how we were saying before about Baltimore and some of these other teams in the American League playing spoiler?
Mhm.
That's where I think the fun part's going to come in. Because I think you're going to have teams like Baltimore, Detroit. You're going to have a few of these teams I think you're going to play spoiler, and you don't want to. I mean, if you're the Yankees, you don't want your season to come down to that last week. You want to know, if you're the Yankees, you're Toronto, that going into September, hell, going even into the end of August, you have that division wrapped up.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that's going to be the case. I think we were saying before with the National League East that the 4 teams are going to basically be in a knockout, drag out type of match. I think that's what you're gonna have between New York and Toronto this year. Both of those teams it's gonna be one of those knockout, drag out type of things. But anything else we want to get to regarding baseball before we get to the last thing of UFC before we call it a night?
We have another
well,
thing I want to get to. Something to wrap up.
The Boston Bruins lost overtime 4-3 to the Islanders. Really bad second chance. Yaroslav Halak needs to go and cover that up quicker. The puck basically squirted out, was gifted to I don't know many Islanders players on the team, John, but number 18.
I would have to look. I don't know the name. I don't know off the top of my head.
Beauvillier.
Andrew. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay. So, I mean, he was right there barreling down. The shot came to Yaroslav Halak, who was in goal tonight for Boston.
Yeah, because Tuukka Rask was taken out.
He's been out for the last couple of weeks. So that just was a bad rebound by Halak.
Mm-hmm.
Bad puck bounce.
All right, but yeah, let's get to the UFC stuff quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get to UFC, Steven, you have anything you want to get off your chest?
Yes, I do.
Floor is all yours, buddy. Take it away.
Oh.
Hold on. Let me just set this up. Folks, the Our Nation Sports Show proudly presents to you a blind guy rant. Steven, take it away.
I know Ezra has that prepared. So last week, we were talking about canceling things. And in the last couple of weeks, we were talking about Pepe Le Pew getting canceled from Space Jam 2. Last night, at around 12 or so, whenever it was, I decided to go onto the network with Peacock. And I put on... Shut up. I decided to go on Peacock and put on WrestleMania 2000. After the first 2.5 minutes, go on the opening intro, the national anthem, all that good stuff. Shows JR and King, and then it cuts straight to the Godfather in the ring. And I literally sat there and I went, wait a minute, hold on. Let me rewind that again. And I had to check myself. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why is Peacock editing an entrance by the Godfather in D'Lo Brown at WrestleMania 2000 with Ice-T wrapping them to the ring? They edited that out. And then I got to thinking, wait a minute. Because last week when I was watching SummerSlam 98, with the exception of the opening promo, every other promo has been edited out by Peacock. Last night, during the day, the news was breaking that Peacock was removing things from WWE content on Peacock. It's not even a weekend. We're a weekend, and Peacock is touching history. You mean to tell me that we're getting so offended that some wrestling shit happened 25 years ago? The simple fact that really pisses me off with you countercultural assholes is the simple fact that on every video, there is a rating on the video. It says PG, TV 14, or MA. What does MA mean? Oh, I don't know. Mature. What does that mean? Boobies. Violence. Whatever. Anyways, content that is not meant for all viewers. TV 14, MA. Content that is not made for children. The simple fact that we are getting so butthurt over content that is on the network, all because Roddy Piper and Bad News Brown. The fact that we're editing out that promo for that match at WrestleMania 6 because of the quote-unquote blackface, Roddy Piper was a heel. That's what heels do.
The bad guy does things to get under people's skin. And back in the day, the heels could be a heel. Think about it, guys. Quit having your head so far up your asses because you think that, oh, we don't want to offend the masses. Well, then why in the hell is there a rating on your fucking videos? The simple fact that you people are canceling society because you think for one single solitary second that, oh, we don't want to offend the whole masses. It's simple, people. If you don't like what you're seeing, turn off the channel. And I'm going to give you some history lessons when it comes to countercultural, the stuff that I know. 29 years ago, before I was even born, there was a video game called, I don't know, Mortal Kombat. That game was renowned for its graphic violence and its fatalities. When Acclaim got the rights to work on the games for Mortal Kombat and published them to the home systems for the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, all that type of stuff. Nintendo was the company that was fearful of the blood. And they did not have any of the fatalities in the game as far as complete. They edited every single fatality in the game as well. There is the infamous stage, the pit, where there is, the infamous fatality where you can knock the guy off the pit into the spikes. In the game on the Super Nintendo, there is no blood at the bottom of the pit. You can still knock the guy off the pit, but there's no blood at the bottom of the pit. And the simple fact, Sega had the infamous blood code, ABACABB. That was the code to get all the violence that Mortal Kombat was known to become. So you're telling me that in 1993, it took Midway at the time going to court to start the ESRB, what we know today, rated E, rated T, rated M, and occasionally rated AO, adults only. And then in 2000, when Eminem was getting big, the society tried to cancel Eminem. Oh, why? Because they were accusing him of being a homophobic. Well, you know what? Eminem said on 60 Minutes 10 years later, he's not a homophobic. Have you people not realized that this is what we call the entertainment industry? When you have an image that pops, that creates sales. Mortal Kombat was big in the early to mid 90s in the arcades with the first 3 games. And now all of us professional wrestling fans, after having the WWE network for 7 glorious years, are basically being told by Peacock a week later that this is how the content's going to be, knowing that our brains are so rattled with this information for the rest of our lives. So you know what? If you're going to edit out an entrance by The Godfather at WrestleMania 2000, and you're going to edit out a stupid-ass promo that you're going to get so offended by Roddy Piper and Bad News Brown, then you know what? You might as well edit every fucking pay-per-view by ECW. Edit every fucking pay-per-view by WWF/WWE that had blood, violence, strong language, and all of that stuff. The simple fact that you people in that company do not understand the rules and legalities when it comes to the rating system. There is a rating system for a reason. I mean, let's be honest, guys. Are we going to take our precious children to a movie theater to see a rated R movie? Hell freaking no. No. You don't carry kids to see rated R movies. You're not going to have a kid play Grand Theft Auto at 7 to 10 years old, whatever, even 13 or whatever. So, because of the violence and all of that stuff with women and all the missions and stuff, degrading towards women and all the controversy with that.
The simple fact that you people in this industry, in Peacock, and people in society that get so butthurt over stuff that happened 20, 25 years ago. Like John said last week, like Kevin said last week, like Carl, like Ezra, and like I'm saying to all of you guys tonight, we are live, and this has got to stop. This cancel cultural bullshit needs to stop, because Bully Ray said it on Monday when Peacock was having when wrestling fans from around the world were having issues with not even being able to fast forward on one of the feeds when they went to, because on one of the feeds you could go to and fast forward. I can't remember what feed it was as far as with inside the app. But anyways, there was that second feed where you couldn't fast forward. It didn't matter where you were at. If you jumped in an hour into the pay-per-view, sorry, you have to wait till the show ends. The bottom line is this. Bully Ray is absolutely right. That wrestling fans are ruthless. And Peacock, I don't think, is ready for the professional wrestling fans to unleash hell on Peacock. Because the simple fact, not only did they make that screw up with the network, as far as not being able to fast forward and pause and do all that stuff, you're editing content. There's nothing you can do about content that happened 20, 25 years ago, 30 years ago. It's the past. You can't change the past. You can only move forward. So Peacock, if I were you, I would get your head so far out of your behinds and fix this. Because if you don't, this deal with the WWE is going to go up in flames. $1 billion. Money. Money, money, money. You can't change the past. If you don't fix it, I wouldn't be surprised if there's professional wrestling fans that are going to cancel their subscriptions to Peacock. So it's up to you, Peacock. Do the right thing and bring back the content that you're editing out, because you don't want to offend the masses. Like I just said 5 minutes ago, there is a simple thing you can do. If you don't like something, you don't have to watch it. If I don't like an album by U2, I will not listen to it. I don't like U2 because I don't like U2. So I'm not going to sit there and waste 15 minutes of my life listening to Bono spill his stuff. Especially, I'm not going to listen to his frequencies on Sirius XM. Who cares about that channel? Only certain people do. I don't. I'm not going to sit there and waste my time. I like what I like. We all like what we like. End of the discussion. Peacock, if you don't fix things, I will not be surprised if there is wrestling fans going to cancel their subscriptions. So Peacock, again, the choice is up to you. It's in your hands. Now I'm done.
God damn, boy.
Did somebody
No,
push
10
you up
minutes.
today?
You know when the glasses come off, I mean business.
Oh, shit. All of a sudden, here go John go, glasses came off. I'm like, huh?
I have jokes for that, but I will say that after we get off the air.
Well, and I think on better news, because this weekend, folks, we have a huge event in the Ultimate Fighting Championship for UFC 160.
Yeah. Yep.
And I figure
260.
no better. 260, excuse me. I'm so pissed off. UFC 260 this weekend. And I figured no better guy to break down the UFC for UFC 260 is our fellow guy on this show, Ezra. So Ezra, talk to us, buddy.
All right. Thank you, Steven. First off, I want to get into a couple of news headlines real quick. Of course, the big one, breaking news from a couple days ago, and that is that Miesha Tate, former champion in the UFC, has come out of retirement.
Wow.
She went into retirement after losing 2 over the last 4 fights, and became an analyst. As you know, you hear her on MMA Tonight on Sirius XM. Yep, on Sirius XM. You hear her on different different sports broadcasts throughout the world. But now she's getting the gloves back on and stepping back into the octagon.
Yeah.
The projected date for her fight is going to be, from whatever it is, July 17th. Her opponent is still to be determined at this time. But the lady known as Cupcake is back in the octagon once again. The other thing is, speaking of UFC 260, there was supposed to be a featherweight championship fight between Alexander Volkanovski and Brian Ortega. Unfortunately, Volkanovski was tested positive for COVID-19. So now the fight is officially off the card, and it will be rescheduled at a future date to be determined.
Adding to that,
yep,
he was here and got tested positive.
Absolutely, yes.
He came from Australia, where he tested negative over there, came to America and tested positive.
Absolutely. This card has a great from the undercard all the way up is great. Let's get quickly to the top two fights, which are going to be the two big ones of the night. We got Vicente Luque taking on former welterweight championship contender Tyron Woodley, one of the best knockout artists in the game in the welterweight division. I think that's going to be an excellent fight. Woodley's got a great wrestling background, but it's going to be up to him. I think he's going to have to stand and trade on this personally in order to win this fight. And if you want to talk about big fights in size and in grandeur,
yes,
this main event, I think it's going to be the main event of the year so far, and that is the heavyweight championship on the line: Stipe Miocic, Francis Ngannou. Both of these guys are knockout artists in a sense. Both of these guys can take you out in a heartbeat. Freaking Francis Ngannou won 8 out of his last 10 fights. He has been on, including four straight. Stipe Miocic won 6 of his last 10, including 2 straight victories over former heavyweight champion and light heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier. So, from the look at this fight, it's going to be pretty evenly matched. In my opinion, I think that it's going to take the wrestling of Stipe Miocic, which he's known for a great ground game for being a big size heavyweight like he is. I think he's going to have to take Francis down and wear him out and beat him up good in order to wear out that body. Because as you know, being a big guy like Francis is, or Stipe is, when you get taken down and you have to work hard from that ground, the blood rushes to those extremities, your cardio gets tested, and you start to wear down real quickly. And I think that's going to be the key for Stipe to win this fight, is to beat him up, take him to the ground, either submit him or knock him out. And that is my little take on the event. Also, want to throw out this also on the preliminary card. Abubakar Nurmagomedov, the little brother of one Khabib Nurmagomedov, will be competing on the preliminary card. Of course, the fights will take place on ESPN and ESPN Plus, preliminary on both, and the main card on ESPN Plus, which you can order on the ESPN Plus app.
And also, too, to add to UFC 261 in Jacksonville, Florida, will be full capacity.
Yep, and that's going to be a big fight card there, too, with the main event.
It's going to be a big fight card, but you know what? My personal opinion is too early for full capacity.
1,000%, I agree. It is way too early to be letting in a full 25, 30,000 fans, shoulder to shoulder, no space between them, like that.
And you don't have to wear a mask.
Nope, you don't. And that, to me, that's just a breeding ground. And I think it's a little bit too dangerous for that. But that fight is something we'll talk about in a couple weeks here later on in the show, which of course will be Kamal Usman, Jorge Masvidal, in a rematch for the what title was that again? I am sorry about that. That is going to be for the welterweight championship of the world. And that should be an interesting fight. And that'll come up, of course, in a later episode of our Nation Sports Show. John, if you would, please close this out.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about?
Really, as far as the UFC goes, I am pretty much set outside of that fight card.
Okay, Carl, Kevin,
All I
Steven,
gotta say is, again, as we said last week at the beginning of our show, love the loved ones that we have alive right now. Try and get yourself vaccinated. I know a lot of areas it's hard to, but try and get your vaccine as much as you can. And please wear your damn masks.
Absolutely. Kevin, what about you?
And everything that Carl says is true. Wear your mask, distance properly. If you're having trouble getting the vaccine, go through all the proper channels to try to go and help yourself out. Be patient. Yeah, as much as we're rounding the corner. You don't want to go and let your guard down too early. And in the immortal words of Lucille Bluth, what does a banana cost? Like $10? So rest in peace, Jessica Walter, and go Sox. Met season's over.
I made a huge mistake.
Steven, what about you?
I don't care much for Job.
The season's over for the Mets. Great show again, guys. That Tampa Bay Rays thing was so hilarious. Great show. It's been a hell of a 6 weeks covering the baseball season.
Yep.
Next week is opening day, and who knows what the hell is going to happen now in the NFL for the next week within the college basketball tournament, because there has been a lot of upsets in the past several days.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of brackets have been busted. Duke is not in there. Kentucky's not in the tournament this year since 1976. Duke is not in the tournament since 1976. UNC is already out of the tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know full well that North Carolina's out. I had them facing Gonzaga in the national title game.
I had Carolina going far, including Gonzaga, and that's not going to happen. My bracket was already busted to begin with. There is no shortage of this year when it comes to the tournament and the NCAA that anybody can win at this point, because the top tier teams, with the exception really of Gonzaga, are standing. Because at this point, it's anybody's ball game. Otherwise, great show tonight, guys.
If Gonzaga loses to Creighton, my bracket is pretty much apt 7 ways to Sunday, because I have them winning the national championship.
Yep.
Another great show, guys. If you happen to be celebrating Passover this weekend, enjoy the Seder. It's this weekend.
Okay.
Passover's this weekend?
Passover's this weekend, and it's also Palm Sunday for everybody else.
Yep, that's right, because Easter is the following weekend.
Correct.
Yes. And also, it's kind of a big thing for me on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, John, real quick, getting back to being next Thursday, out of the 32 teams, 30 are playing on opening day.
Wait, who are the 2 teams that aren't playing?
I think the Dodgers. Hold on.
Folks, if you're still watching us on YouTube, I greatly appreciate it. Believe me, we're going way over tonight.
Thanks to the Tampa Bay Rays discussion.
All 30 teams are playing next Thursday. There's no 32.
Thought there was 32.
No, the NFL and then next season, the NHL will be 32.
Okay. So all teams are playing opening day.
So we will definitely have your wall-to-wall coverage of that. But yes, guys, this weekend is a big weekend for me, not only because it's a Jewish holiday.
Right. So, real quick, at the starting time of our show next Thursday, it will be the Mets at the Washington Nationals on ESPN. Don't miss it, but watch it with us.
Yeah, we'll have, like I said before, we'll have all your coverage of it. And what I was trying to get at before is the Sunday, not only is it start of Passover, it's also my birthday. So
I forgot about that, Mr. Johnny.
Oh God.
But in all seriousness, John, hope you have a great holiday this Sunday and a great birthday. 2 for the price of 1.
Exactly, brother.
Yeah, from all of us at Our Nation Sports Show, happy birthday and happy Passover.
Thanks.
Happy
And
birthday. Happy Passover. And let's hope this
Say it.
plays the right way. Oh, come on.
John, as much as we bust on you,
I'm in charge of the stars, and I'm here to stay.
We're zooming on the moon for your birthday.
John, as much as we pick on you, we love you, brother. Happy early birthday. And don't eat too much on Sunday.
I won't.
And if I was able to get out by you, yeah, you get 29 punches, 28 and 1 for good luck.
Well, you know already that's going to be taken care of.
So yeah,
And all I'll say is the person who does that goes to kickboxing.
You're screwed.
so there's a chance, John, you might get knocked out. So with that note, John, close us out, my friend. And
Yeah,
also, again, happy birthday and happy Passover Day for you on Sunday.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Also, guys, don't forget, this Saturday is our sister show, The Nation Show. Watch it, 7 p.m. Same channels.
Yep, just give me 1 second. I have to get everything set up now. You think I would?
Follow them on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Hold on, give me a second. Hold on.
Twitter and Instagram at The Nation Show, Facebook.com/The Nation Show, Twitch.tv/The Nation Show, YouTube.com/The Nation Show.
Yep,
And-
and our guest will be none other than big-time wrestling referee Alex Goldstein.
And
Rich-
also Rich
Aladino.
Palladino.
Rich Palladino, yep.
Rich Palladino. And you can follow us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Simple as this. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all at ON Sports Show.
Guys, for everybody from here, from everybody at the Nation Show, who, yes, they will have another great show this week. I am John. In the words of Billy Joel, life's a set of hellos and goodbyes. Unfortunately, it's time to say goodbye. We'll catch you guys next week, opening night. So be prepared. It's going to be a baseball-heavy show
Yeah,
next
I
Thursday. I'm
definitely need to
saying
get
that
out of
right
here.
now.
I definitely need to get out of here. The security guards are a little unhappy at the fact that I'm still in here.
Yeah.
They keep telling me the game's over. I'm like, yeah, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute.
All right, but guys,
Peace.
catch you guys.
Have a great night, guys.
Stay hot, you mutts.
Anthony.
Turn me up.